None of this is a calling card for inciting violence or destruction on our community or against our citizens.
That video could be released within a couple of weeks.
Fox's Evan Brown, multiple investigations continue. Better than expected.
Okay.
We are here to tell
Live.
you. We are here to tell you how good the show is.
Yep.
Hannah?
The show is great. The show is great.
Of course it's great.
Today's YouTube poll is asking who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump or DeSantis. So set them aside. You can't vote for them and you can't comment for them.
Here's what you do. You take Trump and DeSantis, you just set them aside for a minute. And then you talk about who else are you thinking about?
What?
The options are Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo,
Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo,
Mike Pence,
the Pencer.
or someone else. I thought you were going to say the pencil.
Or someone else.
Or someone else.
You could say a pencil.
The pencil's running for Senate now.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
Tweety,
That is the YouTube poll.
Tweety Bird.
At 12:25, Hans will join the show once again. Can't wait to have him back. Wiggins America, I'm interested in this topic. You want to say what it is?
Stop using these words when you apologize.
Ryan's like, just don't apologize.
I was going to reply back to that group chat and ask you to do something entertaining. But I didn't.
I would have thought that was funny.
I know. I just felt like if there was the off chance that you didn't, I didn't want to.
G-Whip says Hannah's echo sounds funny.
I think
Is it just me?
I think he's talking about Ryan.
Okay.
I'm Rico.
Oh!
But not like
Oh.
funny, haha.
Not funny in a way that would make anybody entertained.
Okay. 1:05, Tyrus will join us.
What? Tyrus? Seen him on TV.
Yay. And then at 1:25, Representative Mary Miller will join us. When I think of Mary Miller, I think of the Trump rally.
Yeah.
I think of
And then
Illinois' 15th district.
The Secret Service.
Yeah.
How closely associated you guys are.
Yep. Once again, the YouTube poll is asking who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump or DeSantis. Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, or someone else.
Don't tell us who, Ryan. Do you have an obvious answer in your head?
No.
Do you, Brad?
Obvious? No, but I've got to lean.
Okay.
I don't have the obvious answer.
Yeah, that's a. I could be swayed during the conversation. That's how much.
Your comments could sway Ryan.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Whatever she says, I'm gonna go. Man, it's a good point. I'm
Or-
gonna go
or
with
you're
him
just gonna
too.
take the opposite.
Or the
You're
exact opposite.
contrarian.
Yeah.
Ah.
Who's the exact opposite of Mike Pompeo? It's Hannah.
Joe Biden.
I think
Alright.
that should be tomorrow's poll. Who is the exact opposite of Mike Pompeo? And one of the choices should be Hannah.
It probably won't be.
Let's not make that the poll ever.
Who's the opposite of Mike Pompeo?
Ooh, we are 113 subscribers away from 5,000.
I'm gonna go have a conversation.
Are you?
Here's your show sheet.
All right, we'll see you on the other side.
One house, 10 houses, an apartment, 2 apartments, 8, 20, 500 units, 1,000 units, 2,000, 5,000 units. And as you keep putting the money and the profits back in, you become one of those rich people. And much quicker than you'd even believe.
Learn Dell's wealth cycle at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Use promo code 2023. Save 60%. Code 2023. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
Jackson Hewitt gets you your biggest tax refund guaranteed. Plus, get a chance to double your refund or win other weekly prizes with our Double Your Refund sweepstakes. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt. No purchase necessary. U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return ends 4/2/23.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars. Lose the weight and stop smoking. Only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express Suite St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. And Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, I could just say that Mr. McCarthy's rationalizations, justifications keep shifting. The cardinal sin appears to be that I led the impeachment of his master in Mar-a-Lago for withholding hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid from Ukraine, a nation that was even then at war with Russia, in order to extort that country into helping Donald Trump's reelection campaign. We proved those facts and got the first bipartisan vote in the Senate in history to remove a president.
Blah, blah, blah. Shush. That's Representative Adam Schiff talking about why he is being removed from the committees. He's going to say that to his people in his district and the Democrats who think that Adam Schiff, he's a darling to them because he would go after Donald Trump at all costs. Isn't that really a valuable asset on the left right now, especially when it comes to elections? Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. We're grateful that you are spending a little bit of maybe your lunchtime with us. A reminder, if you're listening to us in your car on 97.1 FM Talk, the Odyssey app lets you take us with you wherever you go, back to the office, back to your home. You can also stream us live on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. When Adam Schiff is talking and explaining why he's not on these committees, I mean, you gotta be paying attention to this guy, no matter where you land on the political aisle, and say to yourself, he had an agenda, he had a purpose, he went all in on it, and then you just determine if you're okay with it or not. And I think a lot of Americans aren't okay with it, but he wants more. Of course, there's some pretty interesting news coming out today about Adam Schiff. We'll get to that here in a second. Listen to Trey Gowdy.
We'll talk about Schiff. For a decade, Adam Schiff has kept you from information that you should have had, like the dossier, the fact that it was used in a FISA filing, who paid for the dossier. He went to court, Sean, to keep you from finding out things that were true. And then on the other hand, remember the whistleblower that he met with but said he did not, the allegations of collusion. The reason the media is upset is because now the New York Times and the Washington Post and Politico are not on the Intelligence Committee. Because Adam Schiff was the most serial leaker that I served with. Jason may have another opinion, but he was a serial leaker, which means those news entities now are not getting the information that they never should have gotten in the first place.
Man, is he talking about Jason Chaffetz in that clip?
I suspect that he is.
Let's get him back on the show.
Okay.
Remind me to send Jason an email, because I would love to get his thoughts on at least this moment in time. What is Adam Schiff's use to the American people? He is of great use to the Democratic Party. And Trey Gowdy articulates this in an incredible way, which is kind of one of those things where it's like, when he says it, I know it, I knew that, but when he puts it into words the way Trey Gowdy puts it into words, I think to myself, yes, that's so correct. He says if Adam Schiff isn't on the Intel Committee, well, he listed off 3 or 4 different publications that the Washington Post is no longer on the Intel Committee. Because what did Adam Schiff do? He leaked information, in some cases, that wasn't even accurate, wasn't based or rooted in fact. He leaked information to the press, and the press lapped it up and regurgitated it to you or to the American public, and therefore you create a narrative. Thinking back to how Adam Schiff handled his time in his business, leading that Intel Committee against Donald Trump, how frequently was Adam Schiff coming to the media, doing a stand-up for cable news, or reporting on something, not reporting, but reporting to the American people about the work that the Intel Committee was doing? It was always about, here is what I can tell you about what I know, but what I can't tell you, wait until you find out. And then there was nothing, and he was wrong, and he was a liar. And now he is off that committee. You got to look at this and go, well, yeah, obviously. Well, it's really actually working out to the benefit of Adam Schiff. And he's probably seeing this, especially in the Democratic Party, as a real opportunity to coalesce all of the support that he must be feeling from his fellow Democrats in the party. And he has made a big announcement today. Have you heard the Adam Schiff announcement? Democratic California Representative Adam Schiff announced his candidacy for the United States Senate seat currently held by Senator Feinstein. Senator Feinstein has not announced that she's vacating that seat. Okay.
Yeah.
Schiff was reelected to a 7th term in November, representing California's 30th congressional district. Considered a high-profile lawmaker, he was the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee from 2019 to 2022. His candidacy for that Senate seat is going to be entirely based on his efforts to fight Donald Trump. According to Fox News, his campaign announcement video highlights his record going after Trump, whom he refers to as, quote, a dangerous demagogue, unlike Adam Schiff. I added that part. He didn't say that. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi appointed Schiff as a lead impeachment manager for Trump's impeachment trial in 2020. And he led a team of 7 House lawmakers who presented evidence to the Senate, arguing in favor of convicting Trump on charges of abusing the power of his office and obstructing Congress and removing him from office. Brad, when you were thinking about the players in Washington, D.C., the like stalwarts, the people who don't go anywhere, Nancy Pelosi,
right,
Mitch McConnell,
Dianne Feinstein,
Chuck Schumer. Sure. They're on both sides of the aisle.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people on the right complain about Nancy Pelosi and people on the left complain about Mitch McConnell. They're two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
They run the party in that town, and they are willing to do the things that are potentially very politically advantageous that the American people on the whole hate. But if you want to win and you got to fight based on the rules of the game as they stand, they know how to do that. It's dirty work. Mitch McConnell not taking the Merrick Garland Obama Supreme Court appointment up in the Senate was a brilliant political move that I, as a conservative Republican, would absolutely say was the betterment for the country. But I guarantee you, you're listening to me right now talk about this, and you're anywhere on the left, you're thinking that it was like a constitutional abomination that Mitch McConnell said, no, we're not doing that. That was one of the things that frustrated me the most about this, is they said that people would imply that somehow or another what Mitch McConnell did was constitutionally wrong. Obama got his Supreme Court appointment. Mitch McConnell was within his rights to not take it up.
Yep.
It's dirty in the political world, but that the Constitution was made to have checks and balances on our checks and balances. That's just how it functions. And there's no way that a Democrat given that same opportunity wouldn't treat the scenario any differently. If you have a Ron DeSantis or for sure a Donald Trump become president in 2024 and the Democrats still control the Senate and there's a Supreme Court retirement, the Democrats are not going to approve a Republican Supreme Court nominee in this climate. They're just not going to do it. Today's YouTube live chat poll, since I invoked these names, is an interesting one, and I want you to think about this one a little bit, because I think that if I just ask the question, who would make the best GOP presidential candidate, then you immediately know where you're going with that. But today's YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel is, who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump or DeSantis? If you're a Trump person, if you're a DeSantis person, a lot of people who are Trump people are also DeSantis people, but it's in that order. On the timeline, Trump first, then DeSantis. There are some DeSantis people who are not Trump people. But let's take them out of the conversation. We talked about this a little bit here before the show, and we asked who are the 3 most prominently talked about GOP candidates for the presidency in 2024 that aren't Trump or DeSantis. We came up with Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, and Mike Pence. But we have a 4th option, which is someone else. who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump or DeSantis? So voting for one of these individuals or making a comment or a suggestion that isn't Haley, Pompeo, or Pence doesn't mean that you support Trump or DeSantis any less. We're just having a thought experiment here. People talk about the Republican bench being pretty deep. I think that the Republican bench is very deep. I think there is a lot of promise out in the future. I think that we have a lot, the future Republican primaries for president are going to have a pretty amazing cast of people vying for that position. I look at the Democrat side and I don't know who it is. I mean, who would you say before I make my suggestion?
For Democrats?
Yeah.
Their deep bench is going to be, well, Bernie Sanders is going to run again.
You think Bernie runs again?
If Biden doesn't, yeah, Bernie's going to throw his hat in the ring. Gavin Newsom is probably the biggest name out there. But outside of that, Kamala Harris, but I think she's pretty dinged up from her time as vice president. So she's maybe not even she wasn't really a viable candidate when she ran against Joe Biden in the primary.
Estro on our Annie Frey Twitch page says Pete Buttigieg.
Mayor Pete, yeah.
He might be the best that they have. He might be the most accessible that they have. I don't think Kamala Harris can do it. Gavin Newsom, I think that he would be a dream candidate for people on the far left, but I don't think that he would be able to reach and show, look at California. This is what we have going in California, and get middle America and moderate America to go, yeah, we want that.
Because that's one of the things that really helped Joe Biden is people viewed him as a moderate. Now he's run his campaign, or not his campaign. He ran his campaign as the moderate and the level-headed guy. He has run his office as a far left person. But that's still the thing. People look at Joe Biden, they see a center-left kind of guy. Gavin Newsom doesn't have that luxury, and that's going to hurt him in those areas, especially those areas like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, those areas that he would need to win.
Georgia,
Arizona.
Sure. Yeah, you kind of, I look at a place like Arizona and wonder how Arizona would feel about California and the geographical location and the responsibilities absorbed by Arizonans. Is that what they are? Sure. Sorry if that's not what you are, and you're the 3 people from Arizona listening right now. Interesting. It's an interesting thing to think about. And since we are now into 2023, the presidential election, I mean, this is about to really, really ramp up soon. And you think about November of 2024 and you think, oh my gosh, that is so far away. How can we possibly be talking about this so quickly? It is 649 days until the presidential election. 649 days until we get to choose to replace Joe Biden or not to replace Joe Biden. Is Joe Biden the guy for the next run up? Joe Concha was saying that the retirement of Ron Klain as his chief of staff indicates that Ron Klain is stepping away from that chief of staff position to run the re-election campaign. And I hadn't heard anyone else say that, although maybe everybody is saying that and I just haven't consumed that. But Joe Biden again? Joe Biden, Donald Trump?
Oh my gosh.
2.0. Are we ready for that?
I'm not.
We better be.
Yeah.
We're not going to have a choice.
I got 604 days to get ready for that.
That's right. 649. So we're going to take a break. Hans von Spakovsky with us when we come back. And I'm getting the vibe that the whole idea of classified documents, the handling of classified documents, people like you and me, if you're a simpleton like me, I'm just lumping you into this category. Maybe you're not. But people like you and me don't get to see classified documents. We don't know what a top secret document looks like. People in Washington, D.C. see them all the time, depending on who they are and what their responsibilities are. But it kind of feels like the law surrounding how you handle and protect classified documents, that these people in Washington, D.C. are kind of treating it like that law, you know, the one that tells you how fast you can drive on the highway. Because it seems as though there's been some liberties taken. And I got to ask Hans von Spakovsky, is this much, much broader than we've even assessed at this point in time? Are there people who don't have classified documents from former administrations? Is the problem really with the people who have them, or is it with a system or moving? I don't know. Hans will tell us when we come back, though. You better believe that. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Back in a second.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The med spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the med spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
Stewart's American Mortgage, with the bagel loan, you can save potentially thousands of dollars on your home purchase. You got to go somewhere to get a mortgage. And a lot of times you'll be working with a realtor and they might say, you know, it's not like you really know a whole lot about the mortgage industry. You pay attention to it when you're buying a home, but outside of that, it's not like you're taking it in everywhere you go. They might have somebody that they would recommend if you ask, but make sure that you assess what's best for you. And call or text Stewie today, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And ask him about the bagel loan. You can tell him, you know, here's what we're trying to secure for ourselves. We want to be a competitive buyer. A 15-day close, that makes you a competitive buyer. Using the bagel loan, that's going to save thousands of dollars on closing costs that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. When you save that money, that can make you a more competitive buyer. Reach out to Stewie, tell him Annie sent you, and ask him about the bagel loan. 314-324-4440. You can Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Well, the new year is here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the year. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Don't forget your air ducts either to help alleviate allergies or asthma. It's very important to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home is going to stay cleaner longer. If you book with Zero Res and you book in January only, you get 23% off all services for 2023. If your home had a New Year's resolution, it would be to get clean. Let's face it. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,300 reviews, and the Zero Res 30-day gotta love it guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. I love them. They've been in my home many, many times. I trust professionals at Zero Res. It's a smarter, lasting clean. And ask for the Mark Reardon special for the 2023 January sale. 23% off all services. Don't put it off. Schedule your appointment today at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. Online at ZeroResSTL.com.
You found 97.1 FM Talk, where we ask questions, even when the legacy media won't. Especially when the legacy media won't.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
Sun coming up over New York City.
From a national security perspective, you work in national security. How concerned are you, and does the system need reform?
I'm going to defer most of the document questions to Karine. The only thing I'd say here is that you're welcome.
Thank you.
Obviously the president, you've heard Kareem say he takes the treatment of classified material seriously. I can assure you that everybody here does too, and the National Security Council staff. We deal with classified material every single day. You have to do that. We all know what the rules are. We follow the rules, and the procedures exist for a reason, and they've been developed over many, many years as the nature of classified material has changed now to now include electronic capability. And so we're working at that very, very hard. I don't have any changes to speak to.
We the people of the United States,
Or perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union,
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
Hans, welcome back to the show. We always love having you on. This classified document case continues to kind of grow and magnify. Since the last time we talked, we now know that Vice President Mike Pence found some documents in his home. And Hans, I got to ask you, it seems like if there's a law about how you're supposed to handle yourself and those documents when you're with them, that a lot of these people in Washington, D.C. treat that law kind of like they may treat the speed limit, with a little bit of liberty baked in.
Well, I agree, although there's clearly a double standard, which is it seems like in the past, until Donald Trump, neither the National Archives nor the Justice Department looked seriously at issues with prior presidents and vice presidents. It was suddenly with Donald Trump that it became a big issue. And, you know, I was just listening to, I guess, that news conference, and I'm really tired of the ridiculous talking point that the White House keeps using, saying, oh, they're taking it very seriously. Well, if they take it very seriously, including folks at the National Security Council, why did they not immediately advise the president that having his personal lawyers who don't have security clearances review his documents to find these classified documents was the wrong thing to do? That instead, if there was a fear that they had classified documents, why did they wait months before they actually notified the FBI and the Justice Department about this? And why hasn't the Justice Department, at the direction, for example, the National Security Council, why was it, last week they were saying, well, they were still thinking about whether they needed to search the president's beach home. They need to be searching every single location where he worked or lived, because of the clear problem with them finding classified documents everywhere.
Yeah, I think what they meant to say is they're taking the political ramifications of this very seriously, because they can't. and it really, that's when they decided to take it really, really seriously politically. Am I wrong to sit here and look at how they went all in on Donald Trump and to just assume that the reason that they went in so hard on Donald Trump is because these people will do anything to try to take him permanently out of the game, that they got a little too trigger happy with that instance and go all in with him and inflate this scenario without thinking about how broad these types of disputes and deliberations between people who are in the White House and the National Archives and all of that, how those disputes normally are settled over the course of years of time.
No, I think you have analyzed it exactly correctly. And despite what folks at the National Archives say, I have a very hard and difficult time believing that that every past president for decades has probably taken classified documents with him. I mean, think about what happens these days when presidents leave office, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. They take large amounts of documents with them. Why? Because they all establish presidential libraries. And when you go to their libraries, they have all kinds of materials there. And are we supposed to believe that Donald Trump was the first president to ever do that? Well, Joe Biden shows it's not just presidents, but it's also vice presidents. And that tells you a lot about this. Keep in mind, remember how lax and completely unconcerned the Justice Department was when they discovered that Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, not only did she have lots and lots of classified documents on her home server, but they allowed her and her lawyers to go completely through it, and they allowed her to destroy 30,000 documents because she said, and her lawyer said, oh, well, they weren't classified and they weren't government materials. So we're just supposed to trust them on that, whereas here, they obviously didn't trust Donald Trump, and yet once again, they are trusting Biden's lawyers in this situation way too much.
Is President Biden, Hans, is he in real legal trouble?
Well, certainly not while he is president, because it's been the long time opinion of the Office of Legal Counsel. That's the chief office of the Justice Department that looks at constitutional issues, that a sitting president cannot be criminally prosecuted. A sitting president obviously can be impeached, but while they're president, they can't be prosecuted. And I kind of doubt anything will happen to Biden after he leaves the presidency, because this administration is kind of in a bind. If they, for example, prosecute Donald Trump, but then don't prosecute Joe Biden, it really makes them look like unbelievable hypocrites. And I doubt that Merrick Garland and all these Democratic appointees at the Justice Department have any interest in ever prosecuting Joe Biden for anything.
Yeah, I would agree with that. We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky. He's a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I want to talk a little bit about Adam Schiff. Congressman Adam Schiff has announced that he's running for Senator Feinstein's seat in the Senate. He's got a little extra time on his hands now because he's no longer on the House Intel Committee. And when you listen to Kevin McCarthy, who's the Speaker of the House now, and he's leading this Republican majority, talk about how Adam Schiff managed himself and the access that running the Intel Committee gave Adam Schiff to information, and how Adam Schiff handled that information, leaked information to establish a narrative that was favorable to his political party. You know, I'm curious if you agree with that assessment of Adam Schiff in and of itself, but also you've got, new people in charge on those committees now, a new majority in charge. Are there any repercussions for somebody like Adam Schiff, who used his position to deceive the American people? And, now he's lost his seat, but is that really where that ends for Adam Schiff? That's the consequence.
Yeah, that is where it ends. And no, I think Kevin McCarthy analyzed it correctly, and he should have removed him. No, look, the Intelligence Committee review highly classified data, and no representative should be on that committee. I don't care if they're a Republican or a Democrat, who leaks information or those materials to the press, particularly when they're doing it for political reasons. And Schiff has a history of doing that, and for that alone, he should not be on those committees because he can't be trusted to keep it quiet. By the way, I think a lot of people don't realize this, but when somebody gets appointed to the Intelligence Committee in the House or the Senate, that there's no background security investigation made of them whatsoever by the FBI or anybody else. They are simply entitled to review classified materials because of the fact that they are an elected representative and been placed on the Intelligence Committee.
Wow. That's something.
Yeah.
So, I look at what Kevin McCarthy is doing to Adam Schiff and think Adam Schiff really did this to himself. Kevin McCarthy is making a principled assessment of his tenure, of Adam Schiff's tenure on the Intel Committee, and saying you are not capable of handling this responsibility. A lot of Democrats are questioning the possibility of George Santos being on committees and wondering, what's going to materialize from that. I was curious, constitutionally, Hans, when you look at George Santos, who has been revealed that he's kind of a magnificent liar in his pursuit to become the representative of his New York district, super slim majority of Republicans in the House. Can they kick him out? Does it have to come from his district? I mean, what are the possibilities here for George Santos, who has a lot of credibility issues?
You can commit a crime, be convicted of it in federal court, be serving time in prison, and you'll still be a member of the House or the Senate if you've been elected. The only way you can be taken out of the House or the Senate is if you are expelled, and each House, the Senate, the U.S. House of Representatives, can expel a member if 2/3 of the representatives, the senators in each chamber agree. So for Santos to get thrown out, 2/3 of members of the U.S. House would have to agree that he needs to be expelled. That has happened very rarely in U.S. history.
I'm wondering what your thoughts are, Hans, on the drastic circumstances that you've just outlined about who is rightfully the person to serve in any congressional seat. If the people of that district vote to send that individual to serve in the House, what it takes to remove that person. Why do you think that it is that the founders wanted to protect that representation tied to the district? So, I mean, that's a pretty strong statement, I would think.
It is, and I think that what they feared was somebody being removed or expelled, not because they actually did something wrong, ethically or legally, but for political reasons. Because one political party doesn't like them and has enough votes to perhaps take them out. So they made it so it can't be just a majority vote. It has to be 2/3. And I actually think they did the right thing in doing that, so that a bare majority, if one party controls, for example, the House, they don't use that to simply get rid of members of the other party who they find annoying and don't like.
You think that the House of Representatives would do that, Hans? They did it to a president twice. Before I let you go, I don't know that we've had the time to really drill down on the negotiations that took place during the vote for the Speaker of the House. Are there any measures that have been in place for this 118th Congress that the Republicans, who have the majority and maybe some of the demands of those 15 dissenters from Kevin McCarthy to begin with, the way that Congress does their business, are there any that you really think the American people that you would like to highlight to make sure that they understand this is something that's going to function differently in this Congress?
Yeah, I think a lot of folks in the media were painting those 15 dissenters as if they were just there for personal gain. And while that may have been one or two, actually the majority of them were working to try to get rules changes so that, for example, when a bill is going through the House, the Speaker can't simply say, oh, no amendments will be allowed, which takes away the ability of the members of the House to try to change bills, for the better and get rid of bad provisions. They also changed the rule so that if one member wants to challenge or recall the Speaker, they can now file a petition. Yeah, they're going to have to get people to support it, but it used to not be that way. And so there are various changes made in the way the House operates and the way the committee operates that were really important. And I think actually was a good thing that the dissenters got those changes, because it gives, I think, actually more conservative voices a greater chance of changing the bills that are going through the House.
And Hans, there's a lot of criticism from the talking heads and the media that most people, television, news media, probably from a lot of talk radio, that were saying that it was shameful the way this was taking place in the House in front of everybody to see. I personally thought it was awesome.
Oh, I did too. And those were just ridiculous. Those were ridiculous claims. What this was a sign of was that for once, first time in a long time, there were people there saying it's not going to be business as usual in the House. And I think having a dispute and a battle over the rules in this way, which says a lot about how you're going to deal with substantive issues, I think it was a good thing.
Yep. Me too, Hans. Well, we appreciate you, and we're going to continue to follow this classified document story. And I'm always like, when's Hans going to be back on? So every Thursday, we're grateful that you give us some of your time. Thanks for being here today.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Hans von Spakovsky, Senior Legal Fellow for the Heritage Foundation, the former FEC Commissioner, and a DOJ lawyer. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, which, unlike yesterday, probably won't feature Khalees's Milkshake song, but we didn't know that was going to happen yesterday either. So who knows what's going to happen next? I don't know if he's going to apologize to us or if he's just going to talk to us about apologizing. It's a whole thing. And a lot of times what Ryan tells us he's going to talk to us about, it turns into something by the time he gets in here. You're going to want to stick around to hear this Wiggins America when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Wonders might be president. Only in America.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Now, when you're looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, you want the very best home builder, the one that's going to value your budget, the one that's going to value the commitment that it takes to work together to make that house become your dream home. That's C.A. Jones. Online at cajonesinc.com, you're going to be able to look through their website and learn about this company that's improving lives through quality homes and community involvement. It doesn't just stop at building your home when it comes to establishing new lives, new stories in these communities that they work in. It goes far beyond that. They care about the people in these communities that they're helping develop. They care about you and your experience in the communities that they are helping develop. They have Energy Star certified home builds offering top energy efficient homes in the Metro East, which will save you thousands annually. They work on making sure that your house is going to work for you in the years and years and years that you're going to enjoy living there. If you're thinking about building a home, go to the very best. Visit cajonesinc.com.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but will also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You drive us wild, we'll drive you crazy.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
Hello, friends. Oh, no.
Yes, you said?
It's the karaoke version. My milkshake brings them boys to the yard. That's all. That's the only words I know.
Well, I'm glad that was as non-aggressive as it could have been, because I did not pre-listen to that before I played it on air. It was
Good job,
worth it,
Hannah.
though. It was worth it.
So based on yesterday's Wiggins America at this time, we went on to do a fine one later in the show.
By the way, Hannah, can you get me just the song Milkshake? And I just need it in like everyday folder. Anyway, go ahead. Just in case.
Hannah, can you go ahead and make a new Wiggins America open using the song Milkshake? Because I think that's the way this is going.
You guys have to listen to yesterday's Wiggins America. One of the funniest ones to ever have happened. Do you know that our YouTube views yesterday were double what they normally are?
I saw them up at one point, but I didn't know if that was the whole show. It was a time in the middle of the show that I'm like, why are there so many people watching right now? That's good to hear. I don't know if it was for that segment, but based on that segment, I thought that the topic that we could broach today would be the best way to apologize. And ask, do you use these words when you apologize? Because apparently there's an art to apology, and it's time to stop using some words and time to start using others. So first question for you is do you even apologize a lot? Is this something that
We do a lot of apologies in our house.
Do you?
It's important.
With the kids or to each other? Like to you and
Probably
your spouse?
more to the kids. Yeah, to each other, it's more of a, like, the actions speak louder than words. But I've discussed this before in the air with my kids. It's important for us to stop and have them say, I'm sorry. And we emphasize the response. It's more about the response than it is about the apology. But we have the other person say, I forgive you. Most people will say, like, if I said I'm sorry to you about something, you'd be inclined to say, oh, it's okay. It's no big deal. But if somebody has the nerve and the willingness to actually utter the words, I'm sorry, as long as it's meant in sincerity, they are seeking forgiveness. And for us, like the idea that we have things that we should be apologizing for that are met with an absolving of that because somebody has given you forgiveness is a teaching lesson. And you're making me think that maybe my husband and I should implement that more often.
Well,
like, great lessons for the kids. And I'm like, not doing it.
Well, no, I do the same thing. I will apologize to my kids. I mean, not all the time, but if I lose my temper or something, I'll go to them later, maybe even right away if I can, and say, you know what? Sorry, that was inappropriate. I shouldn't act like that. But listen, let's talk about your actions or whatever it was that I got mad at. But I was trying to think, when was the last time I apologized to my wife? It actually had been a long time previous to this, but it was just last week. We had to discipline my son.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very adamant that he needed to be disciplined in a certain way. And she was not. She was very much leaning a different way. And I was just in that discipline mode. And I kind of raised my voice almost like I was talking to my son at her. And I had to acknowledge it wasn't really
didn't go well.
It didn't go well. And so after about a half hour of let's not talk anymore, I had to walk to her and say, hey, I apologize for that. And I was very deliberate about saying it. And I had to think back before that. I haven't done that in a long time.
It can't be either, like in that scenario, I apologize for how I talked to you, but I was just really mad. And I'm trying to, like, it can't be about what you were trying to do. There has to be an acknowledgement of that was unacceptable.
Yeah. And that's actually what a lot of these are about. So number one is say that you're sorry, not that you regret it and not that you're devastated.
Oh, you can definitely regret things that you're not going to apologize for.
Yes, that's very true. It says say that you're sorry. Number two is say what you're apologizing for, kind of like we just said, and be specific. And then also, and I'm kind of adding this, it's part of this, but number four is don't make excuses. So don't walk in and go, hey, I'm sorry, but here's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, it's not an explainer.
No, at that moment it's not, but that's human nature, is to want to say, well, here's what I was trying to do.
It's a defense mechanism.
It absolutely is. We all do it.
And a real apology should be completely humbling.
Yes. Yeah, it should be, and that's why it's so hard to do.
Be humble or be humbled.
And if you walk into those situations, and I do it too, thinking, really what I'm going to try to do here is apologize, but then explain myself better. It's just not going to work, even though we all do it. Number three, show you understand why it was bad. Take ownership. Very important. And
where's this from?
This is from Wisconsin Public Radio.
Okay.
Which actually went national. Take ownership and show that you understand why you caused hurt. Put yourself on the other end of this. Have you ever been apologized to in a significant way? I mean, can you even remember that?
Oh, for sure.
Because I have a hard time remembering people coming to me and saying, hey, I really messed up. I'm sorry.
You know, there was an instance in our lives where there was a really, really big conflict that my family was in. Like my husband and I, we were involved in this really big conflict. And I was told by somebody in a position of prominence that it was very clear that we were owed an apology. That somebody had done something that was clearly, obviously wrong. And it was clear that we were owed an apology. But, and I said, well, why has that not happened? Because if you know somebody has regret and remorse for how something is transpired, it's not really until then that you feel like you were really empowered to move past it, to not always think rear view mirror, but look through the windshield about what's coming in the future. And the response was that they were trying to make the situation better so that the apology could be delivered with some positive news. And guess what? The situation never got better, and there was never an apology issued. Which makes me think to myself, were they ever really remorseful about any of this? Or was it always about covering one's butt? And it's like, clearly there was no remorse for that. And you know, when that comes from people who are in a position of prominence or who should understand like repentance and forgiveness and wanting to mend those relationships, which is what an apology is supposed to do, whether it's between your two kids because one of them stole the other person's blanket because they left the room to go do something for their mom. That happens in my house every night. It's my blanket. Say you're sorry. I forgave you. Where's my blanket? The idea is to mend relationships. And so often when people are apologizing for things, you realize that an apology is very priceless. Like an actually remorseful apology can cover just a multitude of sins. And as human beings, we are so much more invested in how one another makes us feel than understanding that even though an apology is coming for something that might be irreparable, something might have been done that is so broken that it can't be fixed. That when people only cared about fixing that problem and not fixing the relationship, they never cared about you to begin with. But if somebody does come to you and something is broken beyond repair and they truly are remorseful, it's so incredibly empowering. I've had people do that to me and I've had people choose not to.
You know, it's very true that a lot of times is the first step to a reconciliation, and a lot of times there is no reconciliation, but you almost have to do it anyway. I would add to that there are times that you have to apologize for something, even when you don't think you necessarily are in the wrong, just to get the ball rolling on reconciliation.
Well, and you can be apologetic for how your position in an issue has been reflected in a situation. And I think that intention is so important. People need to understand where people are coming from, which is like why I'm saying, like, in a situation where people say, oh no, you're absolutely owed an apology, but we got to fix this first. It's like, I think your priorities are a little out of order. Like, are you more important about fixing the thing or fixing this relationship? And then at the end, you lose both.
It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. And that's why it's so hard to do, is because there's so much power behind a repentance of sort, which is what this is talking about.
And in the same vein, I would say too, that forgiveness is something that you can seek to give somebody who doesn't require it.
Absolutely.
And that's really hard also, but incredibly freeing if you can get there. All right. You can apologize for some more stuff later in the show.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Yeah. So are we.
It's going to be great.
Go practice that milkshake dance. And we'll be back with Tyrus.
Doesn't need practice.
In just a minute. Don't go away.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. Hypnosis is designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late-day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right, seminars, Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton, St. Louis, Fairview Heights, and Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminar.com.
The federal government is hiring 87,000 new IRS employees and enforcement agents. Make no mistake, with spending out of control, they're looking to collect revenue. The first target will be you. If you have not paid your taxes or filed them in years, let me help you get that target off your back. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm here in St. Louis. So if you have unfiled returns, wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, now's the time to call the Lance Drury Law Firm before the IRS calls you. Your consultation is free, so don't put it off. The Lance Drury Law Firm focuses solely on tax resolution law. It's all we do. And if you have IRS problems, you have legal problems. Let us use our tax law resolution experience to guide you and work on your custom resolution plan. Call now. It's free and confidential. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Don Chamberlain from right here in Greater St. Louis, and I want to give you a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth, because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans and 401ks and IRAs have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I had enough. There may be a way to grow your money when the market goes up, potentially double digits in good years, reduce taxes, and have my principal protected if the market declines again. Call Chamberlain Group now to get my free book and talk to me personally to discover the strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose principal if the market declines again. Call 1-800-807-3838 to discover this asset, and I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-807-3838. That's 1-800-807-3838. Again, 1-800-807-3838.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Officers charged in Memphis. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. 5 fired officers facing multiple counts over the traffic stop beating of 29-year-old Tyree Nichols, who died 3 days later.
We just learned that they all have been booked inside of the Shelby County Jail. All 5 of those officers now facing second-degree murder charges, as well as official misconduct and aggravated kidnapping, as well as some other charges.
Fox's Charles Watson at the Shelby County Courthouse, where a grand jury convened earlier today. Memphis Police Chief Sarah Lynn Davis says the case goes beyond a professional failing.
This incident was heinous, reckless, and inhumane.
Though she's urging peaceful protest when video footage is made public in the coming days. The former attorney accused of killing his wife and son in South Carolina, crying in court as the gruesome injuries were described. But the first officer on the scene testifies he did not see tears on the day of the murders, which prosecutors say were aimed at distraction from mounting legal troubles. The defense says there's no evidence Alec Murdaugh was the killer. President Biden hits the road to claim credit for economic growth, though recession fears are also growing.
Gas prices are on the rise once again, and we're not expecting the president to mention the tens of thousands of workers who have been laid off in the new year.
Many of those layoffs in the tech industry as peak pandemic demand slides. Fox Business's Grady Trimble in Springfield, Virginia.
Also here today, we're expecting the president to claim that the trillions of dollars in government spending since he took office has helped the economy, though economists seem to agree that that helped fuel inflation, and now House Republicans in particular see it as their job to rein in that spending.
And the president says Republican proposals would hurt the middle class. The economy growing at 2.9% in the fourth quarter. More fuel for the Fed's latest rate hike decision next week. America is listening to Fox News.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD, 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mostly cloudy skies going through our Thursday afternoon. It's breezy and it's quite cold. 32 for the high. Tonight, a slow clearing process, light winds, and a dip down to 20 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, cold start, but a fast southerly flow kicks into gear Friday afternoon. Windy, 48. Saturday, clouds and 50. Sunday, clouds and 32. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When the weather is the story is on 97.1 with live local updates and up-to-date forecasts from 97.1 Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray, your local source for what's important. 97.1 FM Talk.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Visit Shane Company. You'll get a great value on fine jewelry created by our in-house designers, and you'll meet the friendliest jewelry consultants around. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars. Lose the weight and stop smoking. Only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express Suite St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. And Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis, Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Well, the new year is here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the year. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Don't forget your air ducts either to help alleviate allergies or asthma. It's very important to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home is going to stay cleaner longer. If you book with Zero Res and you book in January only, you get 23% off all services for 2023. If your home had a New Year's resolution, it would be to get clean. Let's face it. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,300 reviews, and the Zero Res 30-day Gotta Love It guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. I love them. They've been in my home many, many times. I trust professionals at Zero Res. It's a smarter, lasting clean. And ask for the Mark Reardon special for the 2023 January sale. 23% off all services. Don't put it off. Schedule your appointment today at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. Online at ZeroResSTL.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've always believed that what's right matters, that the truth matters. That's why I'm running for the U.S. Senate.
I'm running for the U.S. Senate from California because I think we're in the fight of our lives to preserve our democracy and to build an economy that works for everyone.
89-year-old Dianne Feinstein is currently in that Senate seat and hasn't said yet whether she's retiring. Schiff says he talked to her before making his decision.
She had not made a decision about her own plans, that she would make the announcement when she was ready to do so. I think she's earned the right to do that according to her own timing. But she was more than comfortable with my announcing. I wouldn't be doing that without that kind of blessing.
So Adam Schiff announcing that he is going forward with a run for the United States Senate. Just what we need, 6-year terms of Adam Schiff. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad that you're here with us today. Today's YouTube live chat poll, who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump and DeSantis? Brad, we wanted to put this out there so that people could kind of think about other names that are coming up regularly. And the 2024 presidential race for a Republican always centers around Trump first, and then DeSantis is second tier to Trump. And there are going to be people who are going to run for this position outside of those two.
Right.
So to take them completely out of consideration, tell us who the other options are here.
So we have Mike Pence, who, former VP in the Trump administration. You also have Mike Pompeo. Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State in the Trump administration. He's also served as CIA head in a couple other areas. Nikki Haley, who was the ambassador to the UN under the Trump administration. And then our fourth option is someone else, because there are some people out there that we couldn't get all into the poll. But these are the three that we kind of have identified as the biggest contenders right now.
The people who are spoken about the most.
Right.
And, let me ask you this, Brad. Nikki Haley, would she make a good president?
I think Nikki Haley would, yeah.
Would Mike Pompeo make a good president?
Yeah, I think so.
Would Mike Pence make a good president?
I think he would.
And they're all different flavors of ice cream.
All different. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's how we talk about the presidency now in terms of ice cream. I look at those three and I think if we didn't have the Trump DeSantis thing going on right now, and those were the three leaders, I'd be thinking, let's go.
Yeah.
All three of those options compared to Joe Biden.
Right. Yeah, especially compared to Joe Biden.
Think about if Joe Biden runs again, and I guess he is.
Yeah.
Until he's not.
Joe Concha seemed to think so. Ron Klain leaving as chief of staff, he says Concha suspects Klain is going to head up his campaign, which means that Joe Biden would be running for president again.
Yeah. I think about putting a Nikki Haley on a stage debating with Joe Biden. Oh man, Joe Biden's going to look terrible in that regard. Same with Mike Pompeo, same with Mike Pence. And I mean, those three are not necessarily who I might have someone else to add into there. What are your thoughts, Brad, about I would say all three of those individuals have a resume for the job of the presidency. They are going to know things going in, procedural things, navigating the office of the president. They are going to know more about how that works than most anybody else out there would understand on day one. One of the hugest problems in Donald Trump's administration was because of the massive upside of being an outsider. There was the downside of having to get your sea legs about things when you come in, and knowing that you got there because people wanted to turn the system on its head and take this thing in a different direction than the swampy nature that it had been before. But at the same time, when you do that, you are actively working against the people whose advice you probably need, but you don't want to take the advice of people who have been there forever if you're trying to change the status quo.
Right.
That's a catch-22. What do you think about the next person coming in? We look to governors across the country, Republicans and Democrats alike, or senators, or, mayors.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently.
Midwest mayors. What about somebody coming in again, like Trump, who is an outsider? Like, who's the dirty job guy?
Mike Rowe.
Mike Rowe.
I actually wrote his name down here on my.
Did you?
Yes.
I stole that name out of my brain. I think he would be presidential. I don't know that he would ever.
He would never run.
Which is why you like it. Which is kind of the same as Trump.
But he's so level-headed, so conscious of more than just the coastal metropolitan areas. He's conscious of the everyday average person, which is really who you want to represent you as a president. But again, like I said, he'll never run. And it makes me sad. And I don't even know how good he would be at being the president, but I know that he could build a team that would do an amazing job.
Mike Rowe strikes me as the guy who would sit down in a room of really smart people and smell BS from a mile away,
yes,
but also have the wisdom and foresight to sit and listen and pick out the nuggets of good advice and put it together to make a better country. I mean, if you look at a guy like Mike Rowe, there are not many people who understand and value the strength of America the way Mike Rowe does. He's made a living off of amplifying hardworking people.
Right. And he's been very humble in doing it. So he's not like he's amplifying, like he brings them up and he shows what good people these are. And he has come to an understanding of our country, our city, our civilization doesn't work. He says, this line always sticks with me. He said, the best example is the toilet. He said, you press a button or you press a lever and the poo goes away. And you don't know how any of it works, but it's such a vital part of our society.
If that's not functioning, we are not functioning.
Right.
Poo goes away. Yeah, that's what he needs to go do to Washington, D.C.
Go there, press that
That's
button.
a whole different drain to swamp.
Flush.
Yeah, what does Mike Rowe do when he goes to like the UN? Or what does he do when he goes and meets with these world leaders? Is he able to handle that situation in a way that advances American interests? I don't know that we can speak specifically for Mike Rowe, but when it comes to being principled, and in many cases, he's the kind of guy who has principled values that he will stand by in the face of adversity, and an incredibly diplomatic way of articulating, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. and this is why. I don't know. Mike Rowe for president. What do you think?
I would, it's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yes, that's it right there. Anna, make this a short and then make it go viral so that Mike Rowe will be the next president of the United States. Is YouTube that powerful?
I mean, maybe. I would think he would have to be a willing participant. But
Anna is out there working on something really incredibly important right now, and she just heard her name. And she's like, what I do?
Heads up.
I'm not stopping what I'm doing for that. She does such a great job.
She's got milkshake reels to make.
Yeah. The important thing she's doing is probably some sort of dance video of Ryan dancing to Khaleesi's milkshake. Bringing all the boys to the yard. Sounds like a crime. So who is it going to be? The best presidential candidate other than Trump and DeSantis. On the Annie Frey YouTube channel, you can vote for Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, or someone else. And in the comments, you can highlight whoever you think it should be if it's not one of those three. Those three aren't our particular favorites. They just are the ones who we feel have the highest profile.
The highest profile, right. And we didn't think that John Bolton made that list.
Sorry, Mr. Bolton. Do you have an answer to this question?
I'm leaning so you took Mike Rowe off my list. I said, if this were a fantasy, like I get to pick whoever I want and like Mike Rowe would be my guy, but like I would run Mike Rowe for president if I could pick who would run for president. And I don't feel like I would even have to put my thumb on the scale. But like, here, you're running for president, go win and make America amazing.
Who would he have as a vice presidential candidate? The guy from Pawn Stars. To go negotiate
Rick?
In Congress, whatever.
Or Chumley.
Yeah. I don't know. Depends on what kind of voting block we need to get involved. I think Rick is kind of conservative.
Oh yeah, Rick is.
Wouldn't that be funny? Dirty jobs and Pawn Stars. I mean, that's pretty much government as it is. They can negotiate your tax dollars. You go have them smack people in Congress around a little bit.
Can you imagine Rick negotiating for things?
That'd be amazing.
They're like,
We've solved a lot of big things here in this segment.
I need $1.7 trillion to this budget. Best I can do is $1 billion.
Make it happen. Mike Rowe, Rick from Pawn Stars. What's his last name?
Oh, I don't know offhand.
We're going to need more than Rick from Pawn Stars for the bumper stickers. Rick Harrison. I knew that. Pawn Stars was such a big show. It still is, from what I understand. But when it first came out, it was, we in college, we watched it all the time. It was like must-see TV. This is when I didn't have any responsibilities other than school and jobs. Mike Rowe, Rick Harrison. Done. 2024. I didn't know that's where this poll was going to take us.
Rowe Harrison 2024.
Good?
Oh, yeah.
Did we solve some?
I mean,
seriously.
I'm writing the campaign ads as we speak.
Well, let's take a quick break. We'll speak with Congresswoman Mary Miller when we come back. And we've got a whole host of things we're going to talk about. Mary Miller is the representative of the 15th district in the state of Illinois. She was one of those people who did not vote for Kevin McCarthy at first, and then she moved over to support him. I'm going to ask her a little bit about that, but I'm also going to talk to her about the possibility of the debt ceiling just being eliminated. Like, we don't even need to have a credit card limit anymore. Just spend whatever you need to do. I don't even understand if that's any different than the current process. Sure seems like that. Among some of the responsibilities that Mary Miller has in the House, we'll speak with her about that in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I've tried to cut these corners, try to take the easy way out. I kept on falling short of something.
If you've been thinking about vision correction in the new year, there's no better time to get it than right now. Mark Cox for my friends at Brenton Vision. They have everything you need to help achieve that crisp, clear vision you deserve. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online at brentonvision.com. Brenton is the home to the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of modern vision correction. That's modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for that too. Do what our friend Jessica from O'Fallon, Missouri did. Go to Brenton Vision for a consultation. See what you're a candidate for. Jessica told us to be able to see clearly without the use of glasses is such an incredible feeling. So if bad vision is standing in your way, call Brenton Vision, 314-375-2020, or schedule right now at brentonvision.com. That's brentonvision.com.
Saving money on your grocery bill is important. It's one of those regular bills, and as inflation has caused prices to go up and up and up, maybe you haven't considered shopping at your local Ruler Foods yet. Well, I would like you to go give it a try. The first time that I had gone into a Ruler Foods was when we did the diaper drive to support our friend Princess Storm over at Hot 104.1. Then we went back to that same one for the food drive, and I got to look into the store there and see how nice the inside of Ruler Foods was. And then also, of course, the prices. I shop at the Ruler Foods in Collinsville, Illinois, and the prices are impossible to beat. I appreciate so much the ability to go through the store. It's incredibly laid out. They have name brands of all of the different products that you consume and purchase other places, but they also have Kroger brand foods at Ruler Foods prices. When you shop at Ruler Foods, you are going to save on those goods that you buy every week. Save on produce, save on protein, frozen protein, like chicken breast, tenders, ground beef. It's all there at Ruler Foods. You're not missing out on anything other than that higher grocery bill. Find the Ruler Foods nearest you. Give them an opportunity to show you how much you can save. RulerFoods.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
The Mark Reardon Show.
My daughter comes down and she's all upset because our neighbor is already outside building a snowman. And oh, geez.
Inappropriate.
I'm sorry, snow person. And she wanted to get out there.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Even though he's said publicly these smears are bringing death threats, he continues to do it, which makes us believe that there's an intent behind it. But we will not be quiet. We're not going away. I think he'll regret giving all 3 of us more time on our hands. But at the end of the day, our mission now is to restore the credibility and integrity of this institution of which the Speaker has so gravely smashed and destroyed.
I mean, Congressman Swalwell, you don't even believe that. You don't even believe what you just said. When you think about how Eric Swalwell and Ilhan Omar and Adam Schiff have been held off of committees, they did the same thing to Republicans when they took over the majority. This is an instance where they are reaping what they've sown. And when you listen to Kevin McCarthy explain why he's pulling these people off of the specific committees that they want to serve on, it is a principal argument. Eric Swalwell is suggesting that he is going to make good use of his time. Well, that would be a good use of your constituents' time. I look forward to seeing what that looks like. Speaking of Congress people and those who have a front row seat to what we've been watching as the new year has commenced, we have a speaker now. I welcome back to the show Congresswoman Mary Miller of Illinois' 15th District. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being back with us. It's great to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. You know, we're talking about committee assignments, and I want to learn a little bit about what you're being tasked with on behalf of the people of the Illinois' 15th District. But what are your thoughts on Speaker McCarthy's words about why those three individuals specifically aren't going to get their desired committee appointments?
Well, he's absolutely right, and he's representing the American people, what we think. We know Swalwell was compromised by the Chinese government. And, well, we also know that we can't repeat what he did because you're having a family show here. But even Adam Schiff, he spread political propaganda, and there should be consequences for it.
Yeah, 100% agree with that. So talk to us, Congresswoman Miller, about your next 2 years here, what you've been tasked with in as far as committee assignments go.
Yes, I got my first and second committee choice assignments, and that would be the Agriculture Committee. I'm very excited to represent production agriculture. My husband and I are farmers in Coles County. We're going to be writing the Farm Bill, so that's, you know, a big agenda there that's going to impact the district and Americans as a whole. And then also, I am honored to be able to serve my second term on the Education and Workforce Committee. And, you know, I'm very passionate about standing up for parents' rights, and I oppose the woke agenda and hypersexualizing and propagandizing of our children in school.
Well, that's a wonderful position to be holding in this Republican Congress, the Republican House. I'm curious, Congresswoman, when you are assessing that majority that exists for Republicans in the House and understanding that you're not going to be able to just pass anything that's going to go to the Senate and they're going to, you know, all thumbs up and the president's going to go sign it. That's not realistic. But having the majority in the House does afford Republicans an opportunity to effectively make some changes. Where do you see this new and very slim Republican majority showing to the American people, this is what we stand for, and given a bigger majority or a multi-majority in Congress, we could do even more?
Well, absolutely. I can tell you that we are serious about policy changes when it comes to spending cuts. We have to save our country. The fiscal trajectory that we are on is unsustainable. And, I join the constituents in being outraged over that omni that was passed on Christmas Eve, 4,000 pages, $1.7 trillion slush fund for Joe Biden, funding above and beyond what they've gotten in the past, the ATF, which is out of control. The EPA wants to hire 87,000 new IRS agents, and the EPA is going to come after farmers and try to regulate every pond and puddle. But we want to get the spending under control, and we're united in that.
Well, I want to play for you a clip from our president, and he's looking at Republicans, maybe like you, Congresswoman Miller, about your intentions with the economy.
I have no intention of letting the Republicans wreck our economy, nor does anybody around this table, in my view. And again, we're going to speak about continuing our support for Ukraine. And it's an idea that has bipartisan support, like some of what we passed had bipartisan support.
President Biden's message is that the Republicans are going to try to wreck the economy, and he's not going to allow it to happen. Congresswoman Mary Miller, what do you say to that?
Well, I would say what the Bible says, a tree is known by its fruit. Joe Biden spent $5 trillion last year. He's opened the border. In fact, I'm calling for both Mayorkas and his impeachment over the border. They are just blatantly violating their oath of office to uphold our laws. And, I want to say, why don't you care about the border? He's totally funding Ukraine up to $100 billion. And in fact, he even said, whatever it takes, and as long as it takes to secure Ukraine's borders. So he's a hypocrite. He's the big spender, and he's not securing our borders.
Yeah, the southern border is a huge concern for really Republicans and Democrats alike. Your colleague, Representative Chip Roy, said this.
We're going to have to use the debt ceiling and the spending fight in September to demand that Biden do the right thing, and H.R. 29 is the right path forward. Detain like current law requires under asylum adjudication. We will allow asylum claims, but you got to be detained. That's what the law requires. This administration is trying to use asylum and parole policies to end run their actual duty, their actual oath to secure the border of the United States. I've had it. We're going to do something about it, and I'm going to make my Republican colleagues join us in that effort.
So how does with Congressman Chip Roy there speaking about the debt ceiling and how he can use it to demand that Joe Biden do the right thing on the southern border? Is that practical? Is that something that you think that the Republican majority can effectively accomplish?
Absolutely. I'm on his board. I'm on his bill, and we are 100% supporting him on that bill. Drugs are flowing over the border. Human traffickers, terrorists are being released into our country. I know for a fact they've been detained and released, and we don't even know where they are. And then he's transporting illegals in the middle of the night. I have a daughter that lives in another city, and she's been telling me the governor and the mayor of the city oppose what Biden is doing, dropping tens of thousands of illegal minor children into their city. And this is going to impact our health care, law enforcement, education, and they want us to pick up the tab for it. They're just absolute hypocrites, and we're united to stand against Biden's agenda.
Do you believe that the Department of Homeland Security, Mayorkas, will face impeachment?
Yes.
Is that process going to be, litigated in front of the American people? Or is there going to be a hearing so that we can see that folks like me in the middle of the country who don't have, the knowledge, the statistics at our fingertips, the way the people in the American government do, where that can all be aired out? Because it would be nice to be able to hold President Biden accountable for his inaction, but you have a responsibility certainly to assess the role of Mayorkas. And I think the American people need to see the dirty laundry.
Absolutely. And we've got Jim Jordan, head of judiciary. We have James Comer, head of oversight, and they are going to do it. They care about our country. Mayorkas has violated his oath of office to defend the border and uphold our immigration laws. And he's lied to Congress.
Yeah.
I sat next to him 2 feet away from him, and he lied and said the border is secure.
Nobody believes that. And I mean, you've got truth on your side, Congresswoman, to take that to him and question him in public. I think that this border issue is going to be a very impactful issue in 2024. And, I'd like to know what your thoughts are on it. But I think that the House Republicans and their majority are going to be the best test for what the Republican Party stands for going into that next presidential election.
It is going to be impactful, and I don't want to scare people, but it's going to impact generations to come. And we have to be serious about saving our country. And I can tell you that the Republican majority that we have is, and we are united to fight against Biden's agenda, to secure the border and get the spending under control.
I want to speak to you, Congresswoman Miller, about Kevin McCarthy and his pursuit of the speakership. You were one of those early dissenters of his. You did not support him at first. At the end, you did. I would love to hear just a little bit of your thought process through that week while we all watched negotiation and debate take place in the People's House. I thought that was very healthy. And so far, it feels as though the outcome has benefited the American people. Why were you against Kevin McCarthy at first, and what changed to make you support him?
Well, it was very healthy. I have to say the American people have gotten used to not seeing debate. And what we were after was spending cuts and getting better policy. It was never personal. And, I don't have a personal grief with anybody. I want to work to save our country and whatever I can do to help in Illinois also. But the omnibus should be enough for people to say, we can't continue, doing business the way we've been doing it here in D.C., not reading these bills, 4,000 pages, 1.7 trillion. And so our national debt's now at 31 trillion. Interest rates have gone up. I heard someone say we could spend another 100 trillion servicing our debt in the next 10 years. We could spend our entire gross domestic product to service our debt.
That's amazing. That it's horrifying. It is the future of the country that, I have 4 children myself, and I think about what they are going to be watching take place in Washington, D.C. And at some point, the suggestion exists, Congresswoman, that maybe we should just eliminate the debt ceiling. Do we all get to eliminate the credit limits on our credit cards and just spend ourselves into oblivion? Why is it different for Washington, D.C.?
Well, we can't eliminate the debt ceiling. We've got to get the spending under control. We don't want other countries to abandon the dollar to buy petro. And, we don't want people to lose confidence in the American, in our dollar.
So, Congresswoman Miller, before I let you go, I want to get your thoughts on, the red wave that did not happen. Republicans still took the majority in the House, and sequentially on these 2-year elections, the Republicans have gained and gained and gained. The American people have given less authority and power in the House of Representatives to Democrats and said, we're going to give the Republicans a try. The next election is going to be a very challenging one. And I saw a lot of criticism around Kevin McCarthy saying, he's beholden to a lot of people because his job is to raise money. And I will remind people that we are not going to win elections if we don't have the money to support those campaigns. What are your thoughts on moving into 2024? You're from Illinois. Illinois got hit hard in this election, the opposite of a red wave. What do you tell your constituents, the people listening right now, about how to have a better 2024?
Right. Well, we need to look at what politicians are doing and not what they say. People want fighters, not placeholders. And I'm very proud of our base and the people in the Illinois 15. They are informed and watching, and they don't appreciate how Pritzker and Biden have been coming after our guns. So we have to fight back. We don't have any choice. And I am encouraged when I look at times in history and different individuals or remnant groups that didn't quit. And, George Washington didn't win that many battles, but he ultimately won because he didn't quit. And I'm not going to quit. I want to encourage people to get involved and not quit. Find someone to support and get involved there.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. It takes action. It does take money, but it takes passionate people to get involved and to find out a place where they can be valuable. And that's how it's going to happen. Well, Congresswoman, thank you.
One other thing.
Yeah.
It takes information getting into, whoever controls the information controls the people. And we're being censored. And I just want to thank you for what you're doing in bringing fair and honest information to the people in the Illinois 15.
Well, I appreciate that compliment, and it is on behalf of the people who listen to the show that we value them so much, just like I know you value your constituents. They deserve truth because they can make educated decisions based on hearing truth. We don't need to manufacture it for them.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll speak to you again soon. We appreciate you.
Okay. Take care, Annie.
You as well. Bye-bye. Congresswoman Mary Miller, Illinois' 15th District Representative. Interesting to hear her talk about being part of that minority that pulled Kevin McCarthy into the late end of that week, where he then earned the speakership. It was very entertaining to watch for sure. And I just think back to those moments where people were melting down. I mean, Republicans, very high profile Republicans, Brad, were going on the air and filling in 3-minute, 4-minute hits talking about how shameful and embarrassing it was for the Republicans. It just none of that stuck.
No, it didn't hit home with me because I don't know, like if you view Congress this way, but it's a deliberative body.
Yeah.
Debate is like what they're supposed to do.
When was the last time we saw people on the House floor arguing with each other over principle?
Yeah, way, way, way before Nancy Pelosi.
We see hearings, but that's very much so politically staged for both Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans have done that. The Democrats have done that. It's part of the deal. It's politics. You've got to be persuasive and likable and persistent in order to win in Washington, D.C. For the American people and to retain your seat when your election cycle comes back up. But the idea that there were people, I love that they read through, was it 14 times? How many ballots was it? That they read through every name that many times. People could tune in and hear their representative, the person who is in that body to represent you, had a vote on that 14 times or however many times. That's amazing. That's America. And the fact that they disagree, well, yeah, of course they do. And they got to a conclusion. And I mean, honestly, it took like 3 or 4 days. It's not that long. And they've gotten stuff done since then. I'm sure the Democrats would have liked to have seen the disarray for much longer, but it was what it was. I think Hakeem Jeffries might still be giving that speech right now as we speak. Anyway, let's take a quick break. More Annie Frey Show right around the corner. And your YouTube live chat poll votes. Who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump or DeSantis? Just an interesting thought experiment. Take the two front runners. Probably the heir apparent Trump and DeSantis would be the obvious, if not Trump. Here are the 3 names we came up together. Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, and Mike Pence. Probably not your cup of tea. Maybe you like one and not the other. The 4th is someone else. You can go vote for that and leave a comment. And Hannah will feature some of those when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When I'm with you, I feel like I could die, and that would be alright. And when the plane in, she said she was crossing the velvet ripped in the sea, we chipped on the earth to feel alive. And now I'm struggling to survive those days you were wearing that velvet dress. You're the priestess, I must confess, those little red panties, they passed the test.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
At Mucinex, we don't believe in cold and flu season. We only believe in comeback season, which starts with 12-hour relief. Just 1 dose of Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for cough and chest congestion day or night. That's 3 times longer than those 4-hour cough liquids. So say goodbye to cold and flu season and hello to comeback season with Mucinex DM. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cold and cough medicine. Get relief that lasts with Mucinex DM. Use as directed.
Well, I grew up eating Andrea's sauce on basically everything, and so I got very used to the taste, especially on a steak. And when the first time I was even like a teenager and went to a restaurant that did not serve Andrea's steak sauce on their steaks, I was like, oh, this is just a normal steak now. Oh, shoot. I didn't know that I had been spoiled my whole life. But you can be spoiled just like I was for the first, 16, 17 years of my life with a bottle of Andrea's sauce. They sell it here in St. Louis and people all over the world order it. The other reason I know so much about it, I've known the family that runs Andrea's just my whole life. And they're just a great family and love that they're advertising here on 97.1. So definitely support them. But they make the sauce right there on site. And let me tell you, from looking into the industry, like the bottling industry, whenever you see things that are quote unquote locally made or they have the arch on the label, most of that stuff, I'm not going to say all of it, but most of it is not locally made. Andrea's is. So pick up a bottle. You can get one at your local grocery stores like Schnucks and Deerbergs or Straub's or at Andreas.com.
Conservatives Care is a new 97.1 monthly action plan to change your neighborhoods and our nation, one project at a time. In January, we're inviting you to join us in the Missouri USO in serving our troops by visiting missouri.uso.org.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $900 in utility rebates and see if you qualify for 0% financing on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. For details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
Turn the quiet up, turn the noise down. Let this old world.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
Ain't gonna feel it sway and put some feel good in my soul. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Want a little more right and a little less left. A little more right now, a little less what's next. Act like tomorrow's 10 years away. And just kick back and let the feeling flow. Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Yeah.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Little Eric Church for you there. I haven't said this yet, but my husband's 40th birthday was on Tuesday. Did I tell you guys what I got him?
No.
You told me.
Oh, I know.
We are going to go to Columbus, Ohio to see George Strait and Chris Stapleton.
Woo-hoo!
Okay.
And that
is such a good combo.
The same weekend that the Cardinals play in Cleveland. So
Okay.
we're going to go, I think, on Friday night to see the Cleveland Guardians. I'm just going to yell, Indians suck the whole time I'm there instead of go
And you'll
Cardinals.
appease both sides.
A lot of people will like it. A lot of people will hate it.
Hmm.
So we're going to go watch the Guardians and Cardinals game on Friday night. And we are going to then go from Cleveland down to Columbus and see George Strait and Chris Stapleton. They're leading like the Buckeye Country Music Fest or something. And I think that Little Big Town is also playing.
Ooh.
And then another guy who I don't know. When does I don't know if Chris Stapleton or George Strait goes first. They probably, I would think obviously George Strait would go second, but George Strait might want to go first. And Chris Stapleton is absolutely a big enough act to be the final one.
So good.
The concert's supposed to start at 4 or 4:30. What time
That's
do
early.
What time do I need to get there? I don't want to be there that long.
Oh,
She's
man.
like, I hope George
well,
Strait
the thing
goes
about
first.
concerts, and not everything is like this. We just went to Monster Jam, me and my boys, over the weekend at the Dome.
Same thing.
Pretty much.
Speaking of concerts,
Monster
monster trucks.
Let me tell you about a little 5-year-old who can't get enough of trucks right now. His name is River Wiggins. But we went and we tried to show up right when it starts because concert rule is it never starts on time. Never.
And especially if there are 4 acts.
Oh gosh.
And
well,
2
yeah.
big acts.
That's a little different because they may actually start
Big
on time with
acts.
the early acts that nobody knows, but you don't care about seeing them, so don't show up on time. That's my advice.
But even
am
the
not likely to
acts
follow your
before
advice
is
on
so
many things.
good.
Yeah.
Little Big Town is good. I mean, I would be all in that.
Well,
but
he's
you
40 now, so he's old. So he's probably going to need a nap. I would love a nap.
You're talking about your husmind.
Mhm.
Okay. Not Little Big Town.
I don't know anything about
Like
that.
they would take a little nap in the middle of their set.
So Art on our YouTube channel just mentioned Cedar Point, and he makes a good point. Do I want to go to Cedar? I've been to Cedar Point one. Oh, see, now that's kind of close to Cleveland.
What is Cedar Point?
It's an amusement park.
Oh, I should know about that then.
It's like the roller coaster capital of the United States.
Is it on an island?
Yeah, why
It's-
does that
it's
look?
it's on a point,
That looks
which is almost an island.
All right.
in the middle of nowhere.
Can't say that word out loud.
Sort of.
I've been to Cedar Point. We went on a church cantata. You go and stay at people, go do your church service at a Lutheran church somewhere, and then they have host homes and get on a charter bus. Those are fun. We went to Cedar Point, but I did not have any idea that it was at that part of Ohio. I think we went to Michigan that time too. So I think we're gonna maybe stop in Fort Wayne on the way to Cleveland to pay homage to Pete Buttigieg. Oh, it was South Bend. That's the other one. Jared has family in Fort Wayne. That's why we're stopping.
What does paying homage to someone look like these days? You build an altar with rocks? Say thank you, Pete,
Not
for your
build an
service?
Altar. Whoa.
Stack some rocks, give it a name like Beulah Land. And
Yeah, Bathsheba.
Are these nerdy Bible jokes?
They
Yeah,
are.
They
I
are.
wonder. I do not have the biblical education that Pastor Brad Range has. And people are like, oh, she's called him pastor. No, he's really a pastor.
I'm glad that you're seeing those 2 acts or 4 acts there, because if you had ended the sentence with my husband and I are going to Columbus, Ohio, period,
For a getaway.
I would have thought
Yeah.
a little underwhelming. You know what we're going to do for our 50th anniversary? We're going to go to the Quad Cities. Oh, neat.
Check out Davenport.
Yeah, we're going to see what the other side has to offer. See which side's doing economically better.
I'm throwing this out there for the people to educate me. But if we are taking a St. Louis, Fort Wayne, maybe Cedar Point, Cleveland, Columbus, and back home route, is there anything that we should consider doing? And listen, if it's pulling over to see like the world's biggest artichoke, I'm not doing it.
Oh, really? That's the kind of stuff you're asking for.
But
here.
it's the biggest artichoke.
No,
It's a
I want
huge
in the
artichoke,
world.
Annie.
y'all know me and what I am interested in and not interested in, which I'm not interested in a lot of things. I'm like emphatically uninterested, which can actually be a thing.
Here's what you should do.
I'm not doing it. Okay, lay it on me.
Okay. You should stop by Vandalia, Illinois.
Oh my gosh, that's the wrong direction.
Is it? I thought that would be, it's east of here. I mean, I don't know exactly where you're driving. You're going to be on 64, right?
Yeah, no, that goes through. It's not, yeah, it's east. Vandalia, Effingham. What am I going to do there? I've been through Vandalia.
See one of Illinois' original capitals. They're very proud of it. Their building's still there.
You know,
Abraham
just
Lincoln was
because
there.
somebody who's from there is very proud of it, ketchup bottle, mister.
Maybe you could see the ketchup bottle on your way back home.
I see it almost daily. No.
Unfortunately.
I don't know. Like driving, as you articulated with the first, my husband and I are going to celebrate in Columbus. There is a minor concern about that boring drive home.
Stop in Santa Claus land. Santa Claus, Indiana.
We talked about going to Holiday World.
Yeah.
I was like, should we
Cedar
do that?
Point and Holiday World? Oh, I thought they were the same thing.
Cedar
No,
Point, Holiday
very different.
World, George Strait, and
Chris
Cardinals
Stapleton.
baseball.
Cleveland Guardians.
All in the same trip.
It's gonna be
No,
fun.
you
It's
can't
great.
do that. That's too much.
And I mean, at this point, it's right now. This is leave Thursday, come home Sunday.
Ooh, that is a lot. Well, but this
You like
concert
to pack
doesn't.
your trips.
Yeah, the concert doesn't start until later, so you could get something done that day. I don't know if you go to a theme
Well,
park.
we're driving from Cleveland to Columbus on the day of the concert. It's a 2.5-hour drive. It's not that bad.
Mm. Well, my knowledge of Ohio and the places you should stop in it are limited. So
Isn't
Jimmy says the Rock and Roll Hall
I
of
was
Fame
gonna
is in
say.
Cleveland, and I knew that. And I asked my husband, like, "Is that something you want to do?" He's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, I definitely don't want to go. Like, I would 100% sign up and be like, if this is important to you, let's do that." If we were talking Cooperstown and the Baseball Hall of Fame, there is a destination in our future that includes Cooperstown for sure. But Jared and I have always said that throughout our lifetime we want to visit all of the stadiums, and I think we've visited like six or seven of them. Cleveland isn't really one that I would assume that you would like destination level visit, but since it's happens to be the same weekend, the Cardinals are also playing in Cincinnati before Cleveland, but we've already been to the Great American Ballpark, and I just am not as excited about going back to that one.
This is not that great.
In fact, though, a little Annie Frey trivia, the game that Jared and I attended at Great American Ballpark, Cardinals versus the Reds, was in August of 2010. We had Charlie with us, and he was 9 months old, and it was the Cardinals-Reds brawl game where
Cueto
and Jimmy Rollins, is that who it was? Or that's
no,
Philadelphia.
Brandon Phillips.
Brandon Phillips.
That dude.
He tapped Yadier Molina's knee guards before he went up to bat, and the day before he had said that St. Louis was a bunch of whiny babies or something, and Yadi didn't like it. Yadi hit a home run in the third, which was, if you find the YouTube video of that, if you find the YouTube video of that game where Yadi hits the home run, we are maybe 10 people to the right of where the home run landed. And you can see my husband in a white jersey pump his fist in the air, and he's got a baby on his hip. And we're like super excited. And oh yeah, Cardinals are winning, because we ended up winning that game. And then it like descended into this madness brawl. We were just like sitting there with our baby, like, please don't hurt us. Nobody hurt us, because it got a little bit tense out in the outfield.
Oh, were you wearing Cardinal stuff? And therefore you thought maybe people would turn their ire.
There are places that they say, like, if you're cheering for the away team, like New York specifically,
don't sit in the bleachers.
Or that you don't wear stuff. I don't think that would stop me.
Stop you from
if I went to Yankee Stadium and we were playing
from wearing
the Cardinals were playing the Yankees, I am wearing Cardinal stuff. It might be a more subtle version of it, but I'm not afraid of that. I probably should be.
Like in Cincinnati, you could wear a shirt that says "Go Red" and then in small birds.
Or just wear my Cardinal shirt.
Or you can wear your Cardinal shirt.
You don't have to be afraid of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
All right, now taking your Columbus, Ohio suggestions.
I think isn't the Creation Museum somewhere around there?
Jared did say he's like we could stop that, because he when he was teaching at a Lutheran grade school in Bethalto, he took a field trip out there, and I was like, I'm not opposed to doing that, but I would prefer to wait until we could take the kids.
The Ark Encounter is amazing.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to see. So yeah, we'll wait and see how that unfolds.
Let us know where to go in Columbus, because maybe we'll take a trip there too.
Everybody's wandering.
Yeah.
I'm not traveling with you.
I've been to Columbus.
Not me and my wife. Not me and maybe after you and Jared go, me and you can go back.
It's so
Let me
weird.
know how
I think
it goes
it's
with your
time for a
husband.
break.
Yeah, it is time for a break. The 2:00 hour right around the corner. Don't go away.
Or maybe I'll just let her go.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke. Yeah.
When you hear Diamonds Direct, it's not just a catchy name designed to give the illusion of value. Our name is who we really are. Diamonds Direct was started by diamond cutters a quarter of a century ago. At our very core is a commitment to cut out the middleman and deliver extreme value in exquisite diamonds. Today, that's more true than ever, with our direct access to diamonds straight from the mines. Diamonds that we then cut and polish. Exquisite diamonds up to 15 and 20 carats in all shapes and sizes. It's an advantage other jewelers only dream of. By overseeing the entire process, we know for a fact Diamonds Direct is truly direct. So this year, as value becomes more important than ever, rest assured that Diamonds Direct's unique status in the world diamond market guarantees you the best no middleman direct importer price, period. And even with this extreme value promise, at Diamonds Direct, you still get an unbeatable selection, transparent education, a luxurious shopping experience, superior customer service, no compromises. It's not having a cool name or clever advertising, it's the truth. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
I'm wondering how comfortable and confident you feel about the safety, the security of your IT at your place of work. If you own a business and you have a lot of computer operation, or if you have intellectual property, if you have systems that you run inside your business, are you properly licensed? Do you have fees that go along with the licensure that you are required to have? Maybe you're over licensed. Roadmap Technologies can take the burden off of you of being an IT specialist, because let's be honest, you're not an IT specialist. They are. It is an affordable way to make sure that your IT security is under control. If you want to work with Roadmap Technologies or just see what they can do for you, call them at 314-222-0057. That's 314-222-0057. Online at roadmaptech.com.
Hi, I'm Tom Connors. Went to Mark Patrick's hypnosis seminar February 6, 2019. Nothing worked before. Left there and never smoked again. Amazing. Easy, affordable, and guaranteed. A year later, with my wife, Michelle, attended Mark Patrick's weight loss seminar. She lost 18 pounds, and I lost 43 in 8 weeks.
It's true. He smoked 2 packs a day, and nothing worked until Mark Patrick hypnosis. Now we're losing weight together, eating healthy, full on half the food, crazy, enjoying exercising. Who would have believed Mark Patrick hypnosis really works?
It's amazing. I can breathe again. My blood pressure went down, and I've got so much energy.
So much energy.
And look great.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Hypnosis is designed to destroy unwanted cravings. That's right, seminars, Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, St. Louis Airport in St. Louis, and Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis, Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar, 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminar.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Check your records. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The National Archives sending a letter to former presidents and vice presidents, reportedly asking them to recheck personal records for any classified documents after the recent Trump, Biden, and Pence discoveries. Sources telling the Associated Press that letter went to representatives of former administrations dating back to President Reagan. Meantime, U.S. senators accusing the director of national intelligence of stonewalling requests for an assessment of possible national security risks from documents found so far.
Bipartisan lawmakers have demanded a damage assessment about AWOL documents for months. They've wanted information ever since the summertime raid on Mar-a-Lago and since the discovery of documents at the home of President Biden. It's unclear what's in the documents. That's why bipartisan lawmakers are upset.
Fox's chat program on Capitol Hill, the intelligence community citing a cautious approach to releasing information because of 2 ongoing special counsel probes. 5 fired Memphis police officers now charged with murder in a traffic stop beating. Police chief criticizing the officers but appealing for calm before video footage is released. Body cam footage in a South Carolina courtroom at the murder trial of a now former attorney charged with killing his wife and son.
The South Carolina state prosecutor played jurors the body camera footage from Colleton County Sergeant Daniel Green, who was first on scene. A visibly distraught Alec Murdaugh is heard saying he believes his wife Maggie and 22-year-old son Paul were killed in connection with a boating accident in which a girl was killed and Paul was charged.
He's been getting threats. Most of it's been benign stuff we didn't take serious. Okay. He's been getting punched. I know that's what it is.
Now, Murdaugh's attorney questioned Green and a corporal about how they drove and walked over the crime scene, including shell casings and tire tracks, failing, he said, to protect evidence.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. America is listening to Fox News.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's Jesse Kelly here. I can't afford to lose 30% of my 401k or IRA again, and I'm assuming you can't either. Call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick your precious metals. That's it. You now own precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today to learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan. 833-404-GOLD. 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mostly cloudy skies going through our Thursday afternoon. It's breezy and it's quite cold. 32 for the high. Tonight, a slow clearing process, light winds, and a dip down to 20 degrees. Friday, partly sunny, cold start, but a fast southerly flow kicks into gear Friday afternoon. Windy, 48. Saturday, clouds and 50. Sunday, clouds and 32. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Have you been lied to by Washington politicians and the Wall Street propaganda machine? Hi, this is best-selling author Don Chamberlain from right here in Greater St. Louis, and I want to give you a copy of my new book, Crash Proof Wealth, because according to Time magazine, Wall Street's retirement plans in 401ks and IRAs have failed millions of Americans. After seeing the last market crash over 39%, I had enough. There may be a way to grow your money when the market goes up, potentially double digits in good years, reduce taxes, and have my principal protected if the market declines again. Call Chamberlain Group now to get my free book and talk to me personally to discover the strategy to get potential double-digit growth during good years and never lose principal if the market declines again. Call 1-800-807-3838 to discover this asset, and I'll even cover shipping and handling. No credit card required. Call 1-800-807-3838. That's 1-800-807-3838. Again, 1-800-807-3838.
Football's biggest game of the year is coming up February 12th. But if you're looking to travel in 2023, the biggest day of the year for you is February 4th. It's AAA Travel Marketplace. It's the super big, can't-miss travel event of the year. AAA Travel Marketplace features tons of cruise and tour partners all under one roof with limited-time special offers for huge savings on your next dream vacation. AAA Travel Marketplace, Saturday, February 4th, 9 a.m. till noon at the Holiday Inn at Watson and Lindbergh in Sunset Hills. Get all the info at AAA.com/travel show.
Download Upside and start getting cash back wherever you roll. It's like having your own hype man. Get an average of 17% cash back at restaurants.
Oh, it's dinner time.
Average of 13% on groceries.
Get those groceries.
10 cents per gallon average cash back on gas.
It's go time.
Plus, cash back at participating convenience stores too.
Stacks on stacks.
Users can earn hundreds of dollars a year, 3 times more than other apps.
Upside, show me that money.
All right, we get it. It's easy. Just sign up for the free Upside app and start getting cash back for doing you. Download the free Upside app and use promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 cash back on your first purchase of $10 or more. That's promo code DOYOU for an extra $10 on the free Upside app. Get cash back for doing you with the free app from Upside.
With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Join Mark Patrick seminars. Lose the weight and stop smoking. Only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express Suite St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. And Thursday, February 2nd at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is anchor man, not anchor lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. If you missed it in the beginning of the 1 o'clock hour, we were talking a little bit about this YouTube live chat poll that we have up today. You can go vote by finding us on YouTube, just Annie, F-R-E-Y, find Annie Frey there, and you'll see that we're live. In the live chat portion, you'll see this question. Who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump and DeSantis? We picked the 3 candidates that we feel have the most conversation surrounding them right now. Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence. But then, of course, we only get 4 options, so we put someone else as the 4th option, and we want you to comment if that's your choice. Now, as we were discussing this, Ryan, I don't know if you got to hear us having this discussion, but Brad and I came up with a GOP dream ticket of Dirty Jobs' Mike Rowe and Pawn Stars Rick Harrison, Roe Harrison, to lead the Republicans into a brighter future and the country into a better tomorrow.
I'm watching your face right now, and yeah, let it marinate. Let it stew around. It's a good ticket.
Mike Rowe, I know. I don't know the Pawn Stars guy.
We're going to send him into Congress to negotiate a better deal.
Oh, it's the main guy.
Yeah. Rick Harrison.
Rick.
Okay. And he's the vice.
Sure.
He's not the top of the ticket.
Huh.
Man, I have no idea what the politics of the Pawn Stars guy are, but you know, he does seem like a negotiator.
conservative, like he's done Fox News hits.
Okay.
And he's got to be at least sympathetic to that crowd, which makes me think that he's not. I don't know if he's like a psycho conservative like you, Ryan, but
yeah. So dream ticket, Mike Rowe, Wiggins.
That's not my dream ticket.
Well,
no, I'd prefer Chumley on the ticket other than
I do know who Chumley is.
Well, we spoke this into existence, I think. One of the top headlines on Fox News right now, Mike Rowe warns government enabling millions of men to quit working, not letting them fail. 7 million men have dropped out of the workforce and aren't looking for jobs. Rowe is warning Americans to pay attention to a startling statistic revealing 7 million men in the prime of their life have dropped out of the workforce with no plans to find another job. The data comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which also found men were spending around 7 hours a day doing leisure activities, such as watching television and playing games instead. While millions of men aren't working, there are currently 779,000 open jobs in manufacturing, according to the latest data from the BLS CBS News reported. When asked by CBS's reporter how these men aged between 25 and 54 were surviving without jobs, the Emmy-winning host of Dirty Jobs suggested government handouts were to blame.
Yeah, that's unfortunately exactly what my thought was too. And I almost don't even want to go politically with it. My thought goes to 7 million men not wanting to do things. That's just sad. That's not a good place to be in society.
It's almost as if culturally they've tried to take what inherently makes a man, which is the drive to provide and to succeed, and tried to turn that on its head so that they don't need to feel that way anymore.
When you grow up and all you hear is like the stuff that makes you a man, they start calling you toxic, you're the bad guy for everything, all of that other stuff, it breaks people's spirits. And what, I don't know if you know what men tend to do is when you see a broken man, they withdraw, they recluse,
usually, yeah,
they pull out. And so whenever you've got that as a society doing that, the men are going to withdraw from the society. And so then you offer them money and tell them, you just stay at home, play video games, eat Cheetos, and we'll give you a paycheck. They ain't going anywhere. They're going to sit right there. And that is to the absolute detriment of this society, of any society. But
isn't there a difference between masculinity and toxic masculinity, though?
Toxic masculinity, whatever gets described as toxic masculinity, is just toxic behavior. It's just behavior you wouldn't want out of anybody. And when you attach masculinity to
Wouldn't you say there's a difference between femininity and toxic femininity?
Yeah, it's toxic behavior again.
But you're not, because I do believe that toxic masculinity exists, but it's something that existed before we labeled it.
Yeah. But I don't know that it's necessarily a masculine behavior that you say this is a toxic masculine behavior.
I think it can be. I mean, masculinity can fit in the confines of what is appropriate, and the things that make. I mean, I have just a very different viewpoint on it. Not being a man and being a female that has experienced things. Both, when I was single or in my career, where I felt like there were traits about men and the things that made them men that they did not contain. And that makes it a very toxic environment. And I think that women can absolutely do exactly the same thing. And, I think that there are things that are involved with masculinity that if they're not contained in the way a respectful gentleman would contain them, become toxic.
Well, at that point, you're talking about discipline and maintaining self-control.
Sure, which I would argue is masculine.
Well, I would also say that that's kind of what you need to keep feminine behaviors from becoming toxic as well. It's that out of control.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I think that in the conservative conversation that usually exists around this, people want to say that toxic masculinity doesn't exist. And I think that doesn't make the point that the people who are saying toxic masculinity doesn't exist. I think that is an overbroad generalization, because I would assume that you find the phrase toxic masculinity offensive.
I find the way that it's commonly used to be offensive. I mean,
because people
they blanket it.
Well, they just think that masculinity is toxic.
Right.
And I'm saying I am incredibly attracted to masculinity as a heterosexual and married female, that I think masculinity and gentlemanly behavior and like, for instance, one thing my husband likes to do is chop wood. He grew up in a farmhouse and they had to heat a furnace with wood that was chopped. He did it when he was a kid. We had some trees that were downed and it cost us less money if we chopped it up ourselves. He was out there swinging an axe and I'm like, that's hot. Like he was my husband and I was like, that was fantastic. And I was like, there are women who would do that, but the fact that he was out there doing that to me was a very masculine thing. There's nothing toxic about it. So I think masculinity is a very good thing, but I do believe that there are behaviors that are influenced by the same things that biologically that influence masculinity that become toxic in nature for men and women.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're different things. They present in different ways, but yeah. And
on both sides of that coin too, those things are always the reason that they're so toxic is they're so boldly self-serving
and out of control. And, like you said, self-serving is a great example, just internally focused.
Yeah.
It's about what happens for me.
It's like it's a primal drive to satisfy yourself.
Yeah. Yep. And
speaking of that, Ryan, what?
I was just going to talk about the many times that I've chopped wood and the fact that when I see a woman chopping wood, I'm like, that's super hot too. So, I don't know what kind of point that makes, but.
And it's always nice that you have them do that for you and they're willing.
Yeah. Like, hey, why don't you go chop some wood or something? You kind of sitting there.
Do some work.
No, I think the important point that both of you are probably making is that the conversation about the 7 million men who are not working is that we have just basically tossed masculinity aside, whether you're calling it toxic or not. We have devalued it. We've just devalued masculinity.
We've removed purpose from men.
And part of it is because we're in an age now. I mean, we're in a digital age. There are so many more careers that involve thought work than physical work, that we've valued that more in our institutions and colleges. And we've not put any sort of value
I'm going to push back a little bit on that because there is such thing as the skills gap. There is a tremendous shortage in those.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Those jobs.
Yeah.
And the attitude toward people that work blue collar jobs is generally a negative connotation. People say this. Whenever I was working in a mechanic shop, one of the guys I worked with, I remember talking to him. He's like, oh, this guy his wife was in the Air Force and this pilot was coming over and he's like, I don't like him. Why? He said he didn't know I could hear him, but he said something about my fingernails. And it was because, when you work on cars, you get dirt and grime and that stuff gets in there, it gets stuck, and it doesn't matter how many times you wash your hands, it's there. It just takes your fingernails growing out for it to come out. And he's like, he just always is very judgmental of me. And, this is one of the best mechanics I've ever worked, taught me everything I know about working on cars. Super smart, super outgoing, very nice, very funny. And this guy's dogging on him because his fingernails are dirty, because he's working on cars and turning wrenches to provide for his family. He's got a wife and 2 kids, and this man is doing what it takes to put food on the table and a roof over their head. And this guy's like, his fingernails are dirty. The devaluing of these blue collar jobs is the attitude toward people that work blue collar jobs is just unbelievable.
It's interesting to think about. You said that we have, how did you say it? Like devalued masculinity culturally. But I'm just telling you that, again, going back to those primal instincts, women are still attracted to it.
Mm-hmm. Biology is biology.
And that still bears benefits for that kind of behavior. I mean, as much as it's just like so many other things where the people shouting toxic masculinity, the people who are out there throwing that out in people's faces all the time are the loudest, but they are not the majority. And to have masculine traits in pretty much any profession makes you a better worker. And to have strong feminine traits can make you a better worker. It can make you a better friend. I mean, the idea that you are masculine or feminine, and I mean, even to define like what is masculine and what is feminine. Like, I think that femininity is the most powerful force in the world. And men are supposed to be the strong ones, but usually the thing that breaks them is that they can't say no to femininity. You can be at the top of your game, and that is the one thing that takes them down. They're both powerful forces, and they're specifically opposite of one another because we function as a society best if those forces are working together. And I'm not even just talking like everything is sexual in connotation the way, but that's not, if you're working in a hospital, you're going to need some masculine traits from time to time. You're going to need some feminine traits from time to time. As a female myself, I wouldn't really necessarily call myself a tomboy growing up, but I was a 4-sport athlete. I do things that would be traditionally put into the masculine category. I like to shoot guns. I'm back to doing boxing now. I mean, these are not things that I think if you went out and asked another 100 women, the first 100 women you encountered, that the majority of women wouldn't do that. But I don't feel any less feminine because I do those particular things. There is value in appreciating the differences and valuing the idea that our differences make us a broader, more stronger society and culture. And the idea of blurring all of that for the purpose really of squashing it and trying to like snuff it out, you got to ask yourself, what is the end game there? Because if it's disempowering people by, criticizing somebody who I'm always intrigued by people like The Rock who come out and say things, he's kind of just dipped his toe into politics or political conversations. It's important for him to be an ally to people who aren't, muscleheads, or as Joe Rogan said recently that he's totally like juicing or whatever. I'm like, he's a movie star. Just can you not? I mean, if it's, I don't know why that matters, but I don't see anybody out there championing how awesome of a human specimen The Rock is. Like, nobody's out there championing that kind of diversity, but it's really important for him to go out and champion people who are weaker than him physically. I just think that even by somebody like him, I'm picking on him. I don't even know why, because he was the most massive man I could think of at the jump. But even to suggest that The Rock would need to step out and speak on behalf of people that aren't like him suggests that there's a hierarchy that exists out there that he is required to level out. Well, are you implying that one of those is greater or lesser? That it requires The Rock to speak on it on behalf of someone else? Like, just because he's super strong and masculine looking, I'm not seeing that and saying, well, you know what that means about that $125 guy who is small and is never going to be that ripped. We spend all this time assessing people based on looks, demographics, and ordering them in a hierarchy and dismissing everything that makes us different. I mean, that is so inverted from what the whole Martin Luther King movement was. That we're supposed to be surface only and understand. This is what critical race theory teaches. You're supposed to know and embrace those visual things that you can process in your brain, your implicit bias, to process these things in your brain and to understand all of the things that you know about that person because of what you see. That's your unconscious bias. And since you're not even aware that you hate people when you see them and they look different than you or different than a white man, since you aren't aware that you are actually a hateful bigot, we're going to tell you that you're a hateful bigot, and then we're going to tell you all the things you need to do to make it right. It's like selling carbon credits and then flying private. It's the same crap, and it's just somebody profiting off of it. Meanwhile, there was this man who said that we should judge each other on the content of our character, not on the color of our skin, and that just goes so much broader now to like, or the size of your muscles, or the gender that you were born with, or that even that you were that you're feeling you are. Like, just forget about all that stuff and stop trying to take surface level information and making a bunch of assessments about me because I happen to be white or middle class or you're a white male.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, that ideology really does reduce people to the sort of the lowest common denominators instead of talking to people. And it's the exact opposite of what they would say they want.
Yeah, it divides people up into categories, but the categories are the most base level
stuff that you're like, that doesn't make the person
unimportant things. And I see the war that we're trying to blur. Our differences as men and women and people are there to complement one another. And there's this war to blur the lines between us, to separate the difference. And I don't understand why that is, because whenever you've got two like things, one of them's not needed. And it's like you're trying to make a group of people not needed anymore.
Art, who's always right there to criticize us with basically every verb and noun that I say, says that's not at all what CRT teaches. He says it doesn't say anything about individuals being bigots, but that society's infrastructure is geared towards the status quo. Well, the status quo, Art, is that if you are white, that the entire society is built around the white experience, and that anybody who is black has a different experience, and that white people need to be anti-racist in their actions, so that when I see a black person, I'm supposed to go and behave around that black person, understanding that the black experience is different than the white experience. And because my skin color is white, I am now supposed to behave differently. That's what it says. I've read the curriculum. I understand how this is being implemented in the classroom. Intimately understand. And what it requires you to know, that if you are a white person, you have essentially a bigoted view of the world. My word, it's not in there, but why in the world would they say it that way? Because it would never be implemented in the classroom if they said what it was. That's my job, is to read it and then tell you what I think about it, which is what I think about it. The idea of critical race theory, it's not a class. It's not a subject. Nobody's like, oh, I've got critical race theory at third period, Ryan. When is yours? That's not how it works. What they do is they require educators to take tests and assessments where they check off the different things about their lives. Are you white? Do you have a college degree? Did your parents have a college degree? Do you live in a middle income kind of home? And they make you go through these whole things, and then they give you a freaking score based on a survey. This is like Teen Magazine for bigots. And then they make you go through that. And then they tell you at the end what they tell you about your life experience through a quiz. And then you're supposed to change the way you treat people who look differently than you. Man, that's some bigoted bleep. I can't stand it. It's so infuriating. And we are dumping. I mean, I'm serious, folks. Look at your local school districts. Look at the in-services that they're having educators sit through. Pay attention to where this money is going. This money that is dumped into these types of in-services and seminars and the things that people go through to find out how wrong they are about how they see the world. It's the most racist thing you could possibly think of. And when you've thought of it, it's even worse than that. Like I said, trust me, I know. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to believe me. But I also don't care. Anyway, let's take a quick break. I want to eat the rest of my Atkins bar that I have right here. When we come back, we are going to cover... I'm excited to talk about the story. Where's the headline? Boomers. This is 10 behaviors that people can't stand about boomers anymore. I think it's millennials that can't stand about boomers. I'm going to see if these are things. I'm afraid that at the end here, I'm going to be the boomer. In my young age of being in the late 30s, I'm going to be like, I think I am a boomer at heart. I always have been. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
At Neovitin, our goal is to create safe, dependable multivitamins to support your everyday nutrition when you need it most. That's why we've formulated Neovitin 50-plus multivitamins with 20 daily ingredients, including B vitamins for energy support, vitamin C for immune support, and Dr. Abicki's 4-ingredient proprietary blend that you won't find in any other multivitamins. Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins come in 2 specifically designed formulas to help support your nutritional needs. Neovitin Men's 50 Plus multivitamin for men 50 and older, and Neovitin Women's 50 Plus multivitamin for women 50 and older. With a 4.8 out of 5-star rating on Trustpilot, you can be sure you are getting quality nutritional support with Neovitin. Support your best life today with Neovitin 50 Plus multivitamins. Available at your local Dierbergs, Schnucks, and online with our easy-to-use monthly subscriptions at neovitin.com. That's neovitin.com. Neovitin.com.
Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Bob's wife, Tammy, are together at the Retirement Advisory Group, helping people like you breathe that sigh of relief about your impending retirement. Congratulations to you if you are thinking about retirement coming soon. You've probably spent decades trying to sacrifice and to, increase your savings, and you put things off so that you can take maybe a little bit of an earlier retirement or live a certain way, travel and do all of those things that you've always dreamt of doing. And then you look at the economy right now and you go, good grief, I hope I did the right thing. Thomas Helbig can answer those questions for you at a no cost, no obligation retirement review. He can look at what you've done so far. He can look at what you might still need to do in the future to accomplish those goals. His clients have never lost a penny, and you could be one of those as well. Schedule your appointment today at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. It's free to have the conversation. Call him, mention the Annie Frey Show when you do, or you can sign up online at retirementkey.com.
Secrets, cover-ups, and strange phenomena.
UFOs and ideas that challenge reality itself.
My name is George Knapp. I dig into news stories that others can't or won't.
I'm Jeremy Corbell, and for some reason, people tell me things they probably shouldn't. And this is Weaponized. Follow and listen to Weaponized, a presentation of Jeremy Corbell, George Knapp, Dark Horse Entertainment, and Cadence 13 Studios. Available now for free on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your shows.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
At Mucinex, we don't believe in cold and flu season. We only believe in comeback season, which starts with 12-hour relief. Just one dose of Mucinex DM provides 12 hours of relief for cough and chest congestion day or night. That's 3 times longer than those 4-hour cough liquids. So say goodbye to cold and flu season and hello to comeback season with Mucinex DM. Nothing lasts longer among over-the-counter cold and cough medicine. Get relief that lasts with Mucinex DM. Use as directed.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. What if it were possible to protect you from market downturns without having to make an emotional decision to buy or sell? What if you could take advantage of a strategy that would automatically take you out of harm's way during the bad years and position you for the growth opportunity during the good years?
The secret is in linking safely to the market without putting your principal at risk. By linking to the market instead of owning the market, you can participate safely on autopilot and lock in your gains without creating a taxable event. Go online at retirementkey.com for a no-obligation retirement review. Learn the strategies that have helped our clients retire with confidence for the past 36 years. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Don't forget about the environment when making New Year's resolutions. This year, resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags, and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. and recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Starting your morning in the right direction.
I listen to you every morning.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
My husband and I both work for a living, and it's really hard to watch the news, so thank you.
Weekdays from 5 to 9.
Good morning, Mark. Thank you so much for what you do.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
Now I'm out here looking like revenge, feeling like a 10, the best I ever been. And yeah, I know how bad it must hurt to see me like this, but it gets worse. Now you're out here looking like regret, ain't too proud to beg, second chance you'll never get.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We are grateful that you are here with us today. All right, you ready for this? Do you buy into the whole like boomer, okay boomer thing?
Well, there's certainly generational differences, but
Very diplomatic of you.
Certainly generational differences.
But do I buy into that boomers are a problem? Not really.
Not publicly.
Not publicly.
You should hear what he was saying on the parade.
I do. Hey, I will say this. I will say this, that some of the problems that started in the 60s that are now coming to full fruition, I put that squarely on you, boomers.
You know how people hate millennials?
Yes.
They're the children of boomers.
Yes, they are.
I am a millennial, the child of boomers.
Yes.
I don't think that my parents are the okay boomer kind of boomers, and I don't think I'm the kind of millennial that people hate. Well, some people definitely do. But anyway, from okay boomer to boomer, 10 habits that irritate millennials. You're a millennial.
I am right on the border.
You're a millennial. You're a millennial.
Yep.
We're all millennials. Let's get Hannah in here. Is she still sitting out there, or did she
She's
quit?
a Gen Z.
Get in here, you Zoomer.
Yeah. It's like an exhibit at the zoo. We want to study it.
I don't think she's out there because I don't see anything.
Probably in the bathroom.
Yeah. She's hearing this right now.
Maybe
going,
maybe she too is irritated by millennials right now. 10 habits that irritate millennials about boomers. Randomly popping in for a visit.
Oh no, I love that.
When people do?
Yeah, I love the pop in.
So if Brad just showed up at your house, you'd be cool with that?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, there's always an embarrassment factor. What does the house look like? And that's
as we've determined by your wife.
As we've and Katie Wiggins would probably be a little bit more worried about that, but I think we both would accept that. I like it.
Boomers are more likely to do that, but I also wonder if is it because they're like grandparents? Because that's different than just being a boomer.
I don't know.
Do they randomly drop in on other people?
I don't know.
What about you, Brad? What do you think about that?
Random visits doesn't bother me.
You're okay if people just stop by?
Yep.
I gotta admit, there'd be a part of me going, "Why are you here?"
No, you're not alone.
Oh,
there are a
I
lot of
wonder-
people that don't like random pop-ins.
I wonder why they would just pop by, but that doesn't bother me. Come see me. Say hi.
All right, boomers, you heard him. Talking about
We just had tons of boomers
Like
showing up.
all
at
of
our
my
house today.
aunts and uncles.
do they all know you're on the show now?
I don't know.
How long did your uncle listen to the show without realizing you were that
It
rad?
it had to have been like
Such a great story.
I hope you're listening too, Brian.
Yeah, I did too. Hi, Uncle Brian.
Uncle B.
It's like,
How did that unfold?
I feel like he was talking to my aunt. My other aunt is like, they got this new guy on the Annie Frey show, and his name's Brad.
This is great,
And
man.
And then he's like, my aunt's like, that's your nephew.
You're Brad.
His name is the same as my nephew's.
This is awesome. Awesome. So he's big fan of the show.
Well, we're a big fan of Brian's.
Yeah.
Uncle Brian. Here's the second one, talking about how you should buy a house. It says back in the day, buying a house was a thing to do. That seemed to be one of the rules of life, as though one is running through a checklist: get an education, get married, buy a house, have a family, retire. I like that plan.
What the heck's wrong with that?
The only one left for me is retire.
Yeah.
Bye. That's what I was talking about turning 40 the other day. That's all that's left. And then die.
It's really bleak, Annie.
I know.
I didn't know
I
what
don't
to
know.
say about that because it was so sad.
Well, it is sad, and it makes me sad. The next one is talking about how you should, or wait, that's a repeat. Printing emails and website content.
Number 3, repeating yourself.
It's on here twice with, in my own defense. I don't print as many things as I used to, but that's because I don't have access to a printer, but I used to print a lot more stuff for the show. Printing emails and website content, I can kind of like picture going into a boomer's house and like the articles of the day, like the newspaper, are all printed out.
Yeah.
And like
folded on the table.
62 font.
Yeah, it's tough for us because we do print out.
To get my glasses.
You can only have so many tabs open for news articles at once. So we do print things out. But I think outside of our job, printing out a news article is probably not usually necessary anymore.
I used to probably print out 15 different things a show when I first started doing this midday show. And I don't print anything anymore. It's
really
just all right here.
Nothing?
No, I have this sheet that Brad prints for me, which is all of the sound for the day. And it's specifically supposed to only be on one page. Like I'll tell him, make it 8-point font before you make it on 2 pages.
Did you know you can do half points on the fonts? You can type in half points.
And then we have the show sheet, which you usually don't pay attention to.
That's right. I don't know what we're doing right now. I think it just says Wiggins.
Can tell.
This
No,
hour.
you are definitely not
No?
on this hour.
Okay.
No, not at all. Do you know anybody who does that? Printing emails and
No, my parents still use a fax machine.
Oh, I don't even know how to. Yeah, it's so funny in an office setting, because I used to be the digital brand manager for the station. So I was like a 40-hour a week in the office, business hours, and working with salespeople and promotions people and marketing people and, you know, PDs and everything. We used to have all those employees at the radio station, and you'd go around and if you were a millennial and you needed to fax something, you'd see the millennials standing at the fax machine, like just staring at it, just like we were talking about sending Hannah to the lumber aisle at Home Depot, waiting for someone to come by and help you. And and then you got to get the older people to come help with the fax machine. But every other scenario that involves a computer or anything is the reverse.
Yeah, that's true.
If you want help using a fax machine, you probably need a boomer.
Yes, you do.
Maybe a Gen Xer.
And you know what's crazy is that some of the laws, especially of contracts, they're caught up to the fax era, but they haven't gone beyond that. So you still have to, in some instances, fax documents if you're talking about contracts and things, because legally you can't just send an email.
I'm trying to verify some things on my HSA that require verification, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't email it. You can't email it to me, but you can fax it." And I'm like,
"Yes,
no, I physically cannot."
Right? Can you even find a machine?
Knock off even using
My
that
mom
word.
and dad have one.
Well, send them to
I know where I'm
Brad.
going next
Email them
time.
to Brad.
The next one is the idea that your job is your life. If you think of work in the context of how our parents' generation did and how our generation is doing it, and then I would go another generation lower to Gen Z and say how they view work and the purpose of work. I think that goes back to what Mike Rowe was saying, which is people are just like, maybe I don't really want to work. And that is not something that I think that the generation raised by the greatest generation, the Great Depression generation, that we're 4 or 5 generations away from that, and it's not good.
It's not, although I get, that is true. That is very true.
There's a difference between not valuing work and thinking that your job has to be your life.
Yeah. And I think there is a distinction there because there is a lot more, people just, I would say even because of the era that we live in, there's just so many more opportunities, not only for work, but for hobbies and other things that people can kind of pursue their passions a little bit more. Government spending and all that stuff aside, you just have more opportunities to do that stuff. So where you may not look at work as a purpose as much.
I was going to read that T-Ren comment, but I got to the end of it and it's not appropriate. Another one, these are things that irritate millennials about boomers, not recycling. Haven't you heard those, like, I don't know, is it an urban myth that your recycling doesn't actually go to a different receptacle, like once it leaves the house? It just all goes to the same place.
I don't know, because I've seen some of those specials too. I think Penn and Teller did one about landfills and stuff, and I've seen that stuff, and I don't know whether that's always true, sometimes true, never true, but I know what you're talking about.
Your appearance determines your employment status. In the boomer days, the dress code was suits and ties, with women dressed formally. Crew cuts were the standard hairstyle for men. If you wanted to land a job, you had to look the part. Fast forward to the 80s and the 90s when punk was still somewhat fashionable, dyed hair was cool, and piercings started to pop up all over people's faces. The goths began to emerge from their dark hovels, I don't even know that word, and show their scours to society. Tattoos became cool, and just about everybody got one. I didn't, but we do know about Ryan's tattoo. You can check the YouTube. These styles don't make it hard for someone to land a job. In fact, it can reflect the person is more cutting edge, which can put them in front of the crowd when applying for jobs. Are there still, like, if you're working with somebody and they're all tatted up, I don't think that implies what it did 20 years ago at all.
Not at all. No. It's probably more rare now to find somebody who has no tattoos.
Do you have a tattoo, Brad?
No.
I don't. Your butterfly dolphin tattoo is wild.
No, it's not, there's no butterflies. It's a dolphin jumping into a beautiful.
Well, it wasn't really that well done. It's on your back, so you
it is small on my
don't
back.
see it, but it's weird.
But it's a dolphin jumping from a lake into a bay with the sunset in the background at the autumnal equinox.
And incredibly strange how they chose to distinguish the bay from the pond or the lake, whatever you said.
Very detailed artist.
Society changes. It says that it's because of the values and ideals that they grew up with. The scary thing is that one day you might be classed as fuddy-duddy by your kids and grandkids.
Oh, I would never want to be classified like that.
I've classified myself as a fuddy-duddy for about 30 years now. Some say history never repeats, and we may say, thank God for that. On the other hand, one generation's habits can become annoying to future generations. We are left wondering why our parents or grandparents are fuddy-duddies. The idea that society changes and millennials are looking at their parents, like, isn't that going to be the case for every generation?
Oh, yeah, always. And especially now, because things move so fast now.
And if you're young and liberal, you're supposed to be young and liberal because that means you have a heart. You grow up a little bit and have some life experiences and become older and maybe more conservative because now you're using your brain. And you have circumstances that make you think a little less broadly, a little less emotionally, a little more rationally and objectively about real issues. I mean, it's almost all back to the idea of what is your take on humanity, which is broad. But do you believe in the goodness of humanity, or do you believe in the inevitable brokenness and selfishness of humanity?
It's a very important worldview question.
And
it's at the center of everything.
And if you believe that the goodness of humanity will always rise up, then I can understand why you vote for Democrats. But if you don't, I don't get it. I don't understand how you can look at the world and not see how broken it is and think that we need a specific set of parameters in many cases, not just to protect each other from each other, but from people who would want to seek that power to use it against you.
Mm-hmm. It's weird that if you thought that the world was inherently good or that people were inherently good, you really would probably want to vote for more of a hands-off government approach, you know?
Yeah, classic liberals.
Yeah, where you'd take, you just kind of let people be because they're good and they're going to figure it out. But that's not really how it turns out. You vote for socialism now, which is a heavy-handed approach to
Mike
say,
Rowe for president.
You're wrong.
Mm.
Yeah.
I hope he hears that from us. Can you get him on the show?
I will try.
He's got a podcast.
I'll just text him.
Oh, Lord. Okay. Gonna let that go.
Yo-M.
All right, let's take a quick break. The results to today's YouTube live chat poll. Who would make the best GOP candidate? And we're leaving Trump and DeSantis out of the poll. Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, or Mike Pence, or somebody else. And you can leave your comments and let us know why you voted for someone else. Hannah with the results when we come back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
But it's such a bitter pill. And yeah, I know you thought you had bigger, better things, but right now this is 'cause the grass.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing. But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
They say they'll get your biggest tax refund. Jackson Hewitt says your biggest tax refund guaranteed, and a chance to double your tax refund. Thousands in weekly prizes during the Double Your Refund sweepstakes. Your biggest refund times 2, twice the money, so forget about them. File your taxes on the double at Jackson Hewitt today. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to U.S. residents 18 or older who file a 2022 federal tax return. Promotion ends 4/2/23. Visit jacksonhewitt.com for rules.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
There's a new show on Fox Business called The Big Money Show, and the host, Jackie DeAngelis, joins me Thursday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I saw you dancing in a crowded room. You look so happy when I'm not with you. But then you saw me, caught you by surprise. A single teardrop falling from your eye. I don't know why I run away.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I'll make you cry when I run away.
So I can't say anything yet, but I want people to know that there's something in the mix here with the Annie Frey Show that's going to be big and ridiculous.
It's so hard not to talk about.
Because it's all we talk about in the breaks.
It is. In fact, we want the commercial breaks to pretty much be the whole show.
Yeah,
so
just
we
do
can
more
have
commercials.
this conversation. So you're going to want to stay tuned to that. I don't know if we can talk about it tomorrow, but I'm going to try to see if we can. So you're going to want to stick around for that. I just want to give you a little wink and a nod that there's something exciting going on that will definitely require you, if you're interested, of course, to subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and click on that. Click on that up there. Did I have that up? No. Let me pull it up here. We've got, I think, 4,897 subscribers right now. So I think we need 103 to get to 5,000.
Okay.
And we're going to do something to celebrate that. And also the 5th anniversary of the Annie Frey Show in middays, which in my life is crazy to think that I've been doing this for 5 years.
That is crazy.
I've been with 97.1 since It's in a couple of days here. It's going to be my 2009 14th anniversary with this station. And I've seen so many things happen here. 4,984. So we just got one. Yes.
We got you.
We got you.
We gotcha.
If you haven't subscribed yet, you're going to want to make sure that you go there and you do. And I'm hoping that I can maybe reveal that tomorrow. But you're going to want to be here. And it involves everybody on the show.
Al Johnson commented, "Are we having a baby?" Nope.
We
We're having a
are.
show baby.
A show baby.
No, I am not having a baby. Oh my gosh. Shame on you, Al. Talk about the YouTube live chat poll. I need to purge that thought from my brain.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is asking who would make the best GOP presidential candidate other than Trump and DeSantis? Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, or someone else? We have so many comments on this today. I hope we can get through them. Let's see. There's just so many, and a lot of them repeat, and then
maybe
some
you
others
should
don't.
start giving some of them.
There's a lot of great comments here.
Hannah is overwhelmed.
Yeah,
In
that's a
the
good one,
time
too.
it took you to not say anything there, we got 3 new subscribers.
Rob P says
That's a good
that
one,
he
too.
voted for someone else, and it was Josh Hawley.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah. I
He's
wouldn't have thought about
presidential
that.
material.
Carlos says that he voted for someone else, and he thinks Ted Cruz would make a great president.
I don't think that Ted Cruz will ever be president of the United States.
I don't think he'll ever run again.
I don't
I
know
think
why
he's
he would.
done.
We have lots of Ted Cruz comments.
Really?
TJ Fenton says Governor Kristi Noem. TJ Fenton.
I think that she is I think she's presidential material. I don't think it's time.
I just like that there's an exclamation point after Christie. Christie! No, him.
She's like, Jeb, that worked well for him. Please clap. Hey, we're at 4,900. Man, get to 5,000 before tomorrow so then I can punish Hannah. for not
Ooh,
doing the
this
dance.
one is interesting. Candace Owens. I said it was interesting.
Man, people who love Candace Owens love Candace Owens.
People who don't like Candace Owens
do not
Don't
like
like
her.
Candace Owens. Yep.
Sounds like Trump.
Well, she's polarizing in the media, though. Like politicians are always polarizing, but she seems to polarize even the right.
4,901.
David from Facebook says Tim Scott.
Not mad about that.
That's a good name that
Tim
could have
Scott
even
would
made
be a
our
good
list.
president.
Yeah.
G-Wib says Senator Kennedy or Rand Paul would set things straight.
That would be the best State of the Union.
Senator Kennedy just making fun of people in Southern colloquialisms the entire time. Man, I'll run his campaign.
How about him? He's nuttier than a fruitcake.
Yeah, exactly.
He just insulted me very
Hunter
very
from-
hard. But
For
it's
the
fun.
record, too, the nuttier than a fruitcake was Kennedy talking about George Santos. So
Hunter from YouTube volunteers himself. He thinks that he would be a good candidate.
I don't know if there's going to be a Hunter president anytime soon.
Yeah, you want to go by your last name.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
ruined
boy.
for
What
you,
are the
bud.
results that we got today?
Okay.
4,904.
Results from the YouTube poll, which is asking who would make the best GOP presidential candidate. Nikki Haley, Mike Pompeo, Mike Pence, or someone else. 38% of the people said Nikki Haley. 29% of the people commented someone else. 27% of the people said Mike Pompeo. 5% said Mike Pence.
Of those 3 names, Ryan, which one are you picking?
Man, I got trouble because they're all 3 the same to me. So I
don't
guess
think so.
maybe Nikki Haley.
What do you think?
I lean Pompeo on those 3.
Me too, especially right now when the world seems to be on fire and we seem to be eating ice cream during it. Oh my gosh, melting all over the place. Anyway, take a quick break here. When we come back, the Mark Reardon Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk.
Join Mark Patrick Seminars. Lose the weight and stop smoking. Only $49.99. Seminars Wednesday, February 1st at the Holiday Inn Express Suite St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. And Thursday,